Boom, baby, we're live. Welcome to Rule Zero on the best channel ever, mine. We are here talking about feminism. Is it dead? Because it's not looking good. It's not looking so hot. I'm here joined by John Fitch, Ryan Stone, and Rollo Tomasi, and we're going to talk about all right.
You,
So let's just talk about this. So Rollo, you always used to say, like, because we always said, the pendulum is usually going to swing the other way, right? And I do believe in that, because I think there is a limit, because the bottom line is this: feminism is not about women's rights. It's not about any of that shit. It's a marketing campaign. If you trace all the roots of feminism, it goes down to two things. Okay, people want more votes, and or they want more money. People saw what the focusing on females with the Old Spice campaign, like when they had like all those, the commercials with Terry Crews and all that stuff. That's what really turned the Old Spice brand around, because everybody in this panel is old enough to know when Old Spice was that, like, beige, weird looking bottle in our grandfather's medicine cabinet that we snuck sometimes to smell cool.
My dad had it.
They were sinking
Is it bad if I say I like the smell of Old Spice?
I like the old school stuff. Good,
Old Spice and Budweiser. That's what my dad used to smell like.
And so, what they did was they targeted the women, and then they turned Old Spice around and made it a mainstream brand, right? It's like is in major films. I mean, had a spot in Endgame, Avengers Endgame. So, oh, sorry, no, that was Axe, but still, I'm talking about they had massive comeback in the brand, and then everybody's monkey see, monkey do, and that's what led the the kind of a big part of the marketing boom. But now it's kind of run its course. People are sick of it. And there's a gigantic pushback. So I mean, I'm optimistic in the sense that this is just the gig is up, and people just see it for what it is right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm not as optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the damage is done. And one of the reasons I will say this is because my kids go to Catholic school, so I'm in circles around a lot of religious people, a lot of Christian and Catholic people, and they're not pushing back. They're fully embracing the women run the church. Women run the church these days.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no intention of letting go. And I don't really have hope, because if the church itself can't straighten things out and can't put its foot down and be like, nope, this is the way that religion is supposed to be run. This is what the books say we're supposed to do. I don't know if the rest of society is going to be able to make that turn.
I think that people are regardless of religion, they're just fed up with it. You know what I mean? I just don't think.
Are they though? I mean, look at how many people are Marvel fanboys, and people still eating up a lot of these awful, terrible movies and shows. I watched. I could only make it halfway through it, but that movie, Asking for It. Have you seen that?
No.
It's about a bunch of chicks going around and coming after these male rights activist guys. And the main guy, he's a caricature of Mystery. He wears the hat, and they're telling all the red pill, like one-liner type stuff.
Is that on Netflix? Where's that on?
He's like, you got a nigger 1, you got a nigger 2, like all this stuff, man. I can't know. I think it is Netflix.
Okay. I'll look.
That's funny.
It's such a, and like it starts off like this one girl, this guy goes into a restaurant, he knows her from before and asks her out to go to a party. They hang out, they're having fun, they're sitting by a campfire, they kiss, and then he walks her home, and then she has flashbacks of them having sex, right? So it's like, okay, 2 adults got drunk, and then they hooked up, and then the guy left. So now he's like this ultra villain just because 2 adults made a decision, and then she regretted it, and now it's like justification for her to go around and they start like killing men.
Is Melissa McCarthy in this one? It sounds like something Vesa for her.
I don't know. I didn't recognize any of the actors or actresses, except the main guy is Ezra, the guy who ended up coming up and being the like sexual deviant whatever guy. He's in The Flash and all that stuff.
Right, John. I'm not talking about mainstream like cultural stuff, because like all that shit's gonna be cancerous. That's just what they want. Yep. They are in control of that. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say. But the fact of the matter is, like, the average person, like when I go back to America and I just like meet a regular dude, I'm like, these bitches are so crazy. Every single dude is like agrees with me. black dude in his 40s, white guy in his early 30s, like young kids, like it's kind of across the board that like the average female's insufferableness is no longer unique or quirky or whatever. And we're just like, okay, this shit's annoying. And look, the bottom line is this: look at the meteoric rise of Andrew Tate, former member of Rule Zero. And he's being embraced, as well as Fresh and Fit being in the top 10 most super chatted channels on the planet, right? And the young kid they got with them now, Sneeko, as well, who pulls in like 20,000 live viewers on himself, talking mainstream red pill stuff, talking about the delusion of these chicks in the West, right? Because in Asia, it's sorted out here, bro. It's a good old time anywhere outside of America. But people are starting to rise up, and then there is like a conservative movement happening, and we're at the forefront of it. And it all started with Trump in 2016, because Trump was not supposed to happen, but it did. And then we had the most.
Don't give too much credit to conservatives, though. Conservatives haven't conserved a damn thing in my
no. I'm not talking about conservatives in the sense of like politics and all that shit. Fuck those people. I'm talking about conservatism. Right, people are just kind of like, we can call
it more traditionalism.
Yeah, like a girl's trying to say something. They're like, oh, like you're a boss, babe. Oh, you're so fucking unique, just like every other bitch is done. Oh, when you used to be fucked 50, 100. Oh wow, like you're so special. Really want to get on a knee and give you a Harry Winston right now, And so it doesn't work anymore. And I think that there's a lot of things in the air that's kind of catching up. I mean, it's happening in India as well. I don't know if you guys know about the conservative movement. It's happening in India.
Yeah, India is like a mess right now. I talk with Deepika Barjawan, who is she's the director and actually the producer of a documentary called India's Sons. Man, I would suggest, if you guys want to know just how bad like feminism is, or I should say gynocentrism, because I think we need to make like a distinction between like feminism and gynocentrism, because feminism is sort of like the last vestiges of like the suffragette movement, really. I mean, it's the female empowerment side of things, where women want to say it was all about equality. It was never about equality. It's always been about female supremacism, and here we are in 2022. And I would say this is I think that gynocentrism was the logical extension of really the sexual revolution, which, by the way, we're still in right now. I think people's thinking that it's over or something. It's over and done. No. The experiment is ongoing, and it's still going right now, which started right around 1965 with hormonal birth control. So if you notice all of the things that all the stuff that we talk about right now, we talk about the decline in marriage, we talk about the rise in divorce, and it spiked, and then now it's a decline in divorce as well. And you look at Title IX, you look at the Duluth model of feminine, you look at all of these things that we like in 2022, like fertility rates for that matter. Abortion, you name the issue that is like a gendered issue, and I will show you where they all start. And I'll show you whether it's like CDC or it's Pew Research or it's the Census Bureau data or whatever. Name the stat, and I will show you the year that the spike or the decrease started, and that all starts at 1965, right there. So
with hormonal birth control.
Hormonal birth control. That was the sort of the apple that fell from the tree of knowledge, as I put that in my fourth book, Religion. But that's where you can trace it all the way back to that point. I've been actually writing an essay about the like women were very, very proud of the fact that like in 1974, like women couldn't have a credit card until 1974. How horribly patriarchal and oppressive. And the truth of the matter is the reason why credit card companies gave women the ability to have credit at that time is because we went off the gold standard. And now it's fiat currency, and you have this spike in divorce, you have this decline in marriage, you have women getting into the workforce, you have women getting into education. I see a spike in debt, and of course, it wasn't like in this case. I'm going to agree with John here. Yeah, it was an entirely economic decision for them to do that. It wasn't about women's rights. It was about making more money off of women because we went off the gold standard at that point, and women wanted to be able to hold their own, be responsible for their own debt. But of course, that didn't matter because we had also at that same time no fault divorce, which started in like 1968, 1970, right there. So you look at all of those changes and that had happened since, like, say, what we call the sexual revolution, and the free love movement, and Hugh Hefner and Playboy magazine and Gloria Steinem and Betty Friedan and all that good stuff that was going on, like in the late 60s and early 70s. If you go and you look where it all started, and you see where we were and where we're at right now, we're still in an ongoing experiment that's called the sexual revolution. And so when we say, oh, is feminism dead? Feminism I'm going to rattle a few cages here. There's no such thing as like first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, eighth wave, whatever feminism. It has always been the same effing thing. So when we look at like the suffragette movement, which people would call first wave feminism, that didn't end in 1920 when women got the right to vote. No, it's been the same movement since 1848 in Seneca Falls, New York, when they had the first suffragette convention, all the way up to where we are in 2022 right now. It's just been interrupted by wars and social unrest and economic, crises. And it's just, and we fought, and it couldn't come into its own until 1965, because that's when we basically ceded reproductive control over the human race to one gender. And there are only two genders.
I'm going to ruffle your feathers on this one.
Wait, let me push. Okay, let me just push back, because you said hormonal birth control, right? So what's happening though is the gig is up and people are figuring out about birth control. Okay, I'm going to play a clip right here from Joe Rogan Experience. Take a look. Listen to this real quick. Okay. They're talking about mating between men and female, and an experiment they did. Check this out.
Stories. Check this out, because this is important knowledge for people to have. So he got a bunch of guys who were deficient in one part of their immune response, and then a bunch of women who were also deficient in one part. The immune response, it's called immune histocompatibility index. And let's say it has 5 elements. So they would find a bunch of guys who were low in 1 or 2 or number 3 or number 4, whatever, and women who had the same different deficiencies. The hypothesis was that a woman who's low in factor 3 won't be attracted to men who are low in factor 3. They'll be attracted to men who are high in factor 3, because then the babies will be healthy, right? So he gets these guys to wear T-shirts for 3 days and nights with no deodorant, no showers, no soap, nothing. Then puts the T-shirts in plastic bags. Then he has the women smell the bags and mark on a piece of paper how attractive they thought the men were, based only on the smell of the T-shirts, right? And he found that with 80% of the women, they chose as he predicted, that they chose the men high in the thing that they were low in, and they avoided the men who were low in the thing that they were low in. But in about 20%, they seemed to be choosing randomly. So he went back and looked at the women again and found that those 20% were on birth control pills. Whoa. So the birth control pill short circuits that response.
Whoa.
So think of how many couples have gotten together when she's on the pill and they both like Louis C.K. Joe's looking into the distance. Was she on the pill when I met her? I talked about this at an interview in San Francisco on the PBS station down there. And as I'm talking, the guy's making the gesture like, that happened to me, but be quiet, don't say it. And after the interview, he's like, dude, that's exactly, my wife went off the pill and she was done with me. She didn't want me sleeping in the same bed. She didn't want me in the same house.
Spooky.
Whoa. A lot of marriages are falling apart because they got together when the woman couldn't smell his compatibility. And it's
so there's that, that's one part of the big, because the reason I wanted to do today's episode is because we all know feminism's a lie. This whole fucking bullshit that they're purporting is a lie. And I'm just showing how the lie is falling apart, because the only thing that keeps a lie going is more lies. But in the age where people now, because we've killed God, right? We said God doesn't exist. There's no God. Science is God, right? Now people are looking for truth more than ever. And we have access to the internet, and you can't censor us all. You can't stop us all. You know what I mean? Look at what happened with the whole, this situation when you had to get 2 of these or 3 of these, or, you might get your chip turned off or whatever. That's a big part of people waking up as well. So, in regards to the birth control, I mean, that cat's out the bag as well.
It's funny, is I was talking about this last week on my Sunday show, because I was kind of I was taking was it Dr. David Buss to task, because I was watching an interview between him and Mike Sartain, And in his latest book, which is Men Behaving Badly, he wants to replace the idea of ovulatory shift with what's called mate switching, mate switching hypothesis, which I think is completely unfounded and completely bullshit. And honestly, it's a cope because he doesn't want to lose his tenure, basically. But the reason why I came at him so hard on this, it was because exactly of that, because of the sweaty t-shirt test. And by the way, the one he's relating right there is one of many. Marty Hazelton and Dave Gangstad, I forget, James Gangstad, who's like the researchers. They've been doing this for a long time. They've repeated this test. And by the way, it's Ryan, it is replicable in this case. What they were testing for in the original experiments back in like the mid 2000s was they were looking for testosterone levels in the guys. So guys with higher T levels who sweated in the shirts were more attractive than the guys who had lower T levels, and that's what they originally started looking for. And then they've done variations of it, just like this guy I was talking about right here. And so I'm looking at this and I'm going, if that's the case, if it is a woman is on like hormonal birth control, let's just say for sake of argument, and she finds one t-shirt, or she's just selecting randomly or whatever, she's picking the wrong partner because hormonal birth control has screwed up her sensitivity to a higher T guy versus a lower T guy, or in this case, like whatever the genetic factor is, whatever they were testing for. But in, like I said, the original experiments, if she's picking the wrong guy, she goes off birth control, and now suddenly she wants to kick him out of bed. Does that not then prove that ovulatory shift is actually a fucking factor? Because now we're looking at a biological.
Who said it wasn't?
Dr. David Buss.
I don't think that's what he says about that, though. Because I remember this study. It was that 85% of women that were cheating on their men, it's not because they were trying to find the alpha fucks, beta bucks. It's because they were looking to branch swing. And and what's that theory that women who have multiple kids from multiple men are better protected from environmental dangers and to provide a selective pressure?
Yeah. Well, so from a mate switching perspective, the problem is there's the presumption that there's already a mate. What I'm saying is like there has to be like the selection first. So I'm not saying that there might not be something to mate switching. I'm sure that there is when it comes to the beta bucks side of hypergamy. But when we're looking at the alpha fuck side, that's when ovulatory shift is actually very influential. In fact, so much so that we can test for it through like inhibiting certain aspects of women's biological selection process by inserting hormonal birth control into the mix. So
that's why I like going with David Clare in Practical Female Psychology when he talks about the betaization process. You know how the evolutionary way that women move on to next to get more kids from more men. It's the shit testing the man, getting him to validate and open up, putting him to work. Next step was evolutionary selfishness, and then self-determination. Essentially the process that every relationship starts and stops on. Totally fits with what you're thinking, and I get it. Buss is trying to save his tenure, so he's kind of
focuses only on the beta, but he focuses only on the flattering aspects of mate selection per women.
Exactly. Now I'm not going to speculate if he's doing that because he needs to keep his tenure or because he actually can't see it. Whatever. I mean, I'm glad you're here because you can put those dots together anyway.
Rollo, that needs to be your next book. You need to like put together like a study of things,
I don't need tenure.
Let me catch up with these super chats. And speaking of alpha fucks, Troy Francis is in the house. What's up, big guy? How are you doing?
Hey,
welcome. Guys, how are you? Very good to be here.
We miss you so much. Let me catch up with these super chats real quick. Kyle 2020 $5 super chat. I'm not 10 minutes ago, and on the local news it says Latin X History Month with some Zoomer complaining about a college because of gender shit. Okay, thank you. The Latinos aren't putting up with that stuff. Cal L 1399, son of Joel. New studio looks fire, MLD. Thank you so much. And then Kyle 2020 again. Effectively, we do have the first female president propping up Joe like the corpse of Bernie Lomax.
I was right.
Those people aren't running anything.
Oh, but here, Rollo. So on your point before, John, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
I think environment matters more than this. Like you're saying, people are waking up, everybody's changing, feminism's did its thing. You know what it is? Do you know what killed feminism? I don't think it's woke. I don't think it's red pill men. I think it's 8% inflation. I think feminism and woke shit is a luxury belief. And
Mhm.
now that inflation has
That's
just
true.
killed people's ability to earn, they're forced to like revisit this stuff. And now people will move to the conservative side of things,
Yep.
not because they believe in
Yeah.
conservatism, but it's almost like a survival instinct.
That's part of it for sure.
Yeah. Well, like John,
that's
have you
what-
seen there's
sure.
this new app that's coming out where it's like Tinder, but for Christian
For
conservatives?
conservative women.
Dude, we have that queued up here, buddy. That's on the
Yeah.
thumbnail. You're
Yep.
talking about the
Yeah.
right stuff.
Yeah, that one.
That's on the pipeline too. Don't worry, we got all the red meat.
The
here
only
today.
age you can select is from 28 to 35, and all the kids are looking for an alpha male that does. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake,
Select
really?
your desired egg carton count. 6,
If I didn't know any better,
3,
John,
2.
I thought you made that video as satire.
It plays like it is satire.
Yeah.
That's
I
funny.
want to talk. So let's talk about the whole betaization by 1,000 cuts, right? Because everybody complains about that, right? You know, it's funny though what they say, like, because it is a fact. Like when a woman moves in with you, if a man, his testosterone levels do drop, but you know, there's one X factor that can keep the man's testosterone levels steady or
Synthetic.
rising. Does anybody know what it is?
Yeah, more
Synthetic.
women
On your woman.
not getting married. Yeah.
Well, you can also go on
It's not
TRT.
science. Nah,
You can
fuck TRT.
synthetically raise your levels.
I'm gonna go with the way Jesus had it. You know, Jesus wants us to be cheating on our wives because our body is given the feedback. You know, testosterone levels go down. You start looking like a fat kid in Brazil. So what do you got to do? You get out there and you go stock
Just
up your
roll on, get a
roster.
spot at 21 con. It's a natural way for
You
me.
know, you get yourself stock up your roster and you're good to go. But I mean, that's a fact too, right?
Mm.
Do you guys want to finish up on that? I got some more stuff, but let me know.
No, I was just going to say is that there's so many biological factors that like I think a lot of and maybe Ryan can speak to this too, is I think that a lot of the what do they say, the crisis of replicability or something like that in ovulatory shift. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that everybody knows about it now. It was a novel idea back in 2008, but then you've got all these people, people who want to do meta studies because they want to try to disprove that. And Marty Hazelton and Gad Saad were talking about how like those meta studies were just were p hacking. And if you know what p hacking, I don't mean p hacking. I mean like they're trying to basically massage the numbers to find what they want to get out of it. And then you've got like there's so many studies again, like what John was saying a minute ago is we're really seeing these investments, these ego investments in emotionalism and what we think ought to be true. And in this case, it's like feminism should be true. We should all want equality and we should all want, be progressive and leftist and everything else. And they're really clinging to these 20th century old order ideals. But in the 21st century, where we have access to all of this data, and I go, oh, you got data for that? I got data that conflicts with that. We can always have like, what is it? The dueling research papers kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so it really kind of comes back to like, what are you so invested in? What's your security blanket that can be sort of like refuted by, God knows how many different research papers. Like the only reason I exist right now is because I have access to the internet. I don't have to go to a library and be an expert in anthropology, sociology, psychology, evopsych, evobio, hormone, endocrinology, neurology. I'm not an expert in any of those things, but what I do is I take the data from those and I connect dots and I put it into the gender landscape. And again, it's like you got a guy like Dr. David Buss or Jordan Peterson or even Jeffrey Miller.
There it is.
They have all this data, and it's like okay, that's great. You have all this data. How are you interpreting that data, and how is that data like widely available to other people right now? Again, I don't have a doctorate in anything. However, I got access to the same research that all of these fantastic, wonderfully intelligent experts do, and they're still not making the conclusions that I'm making.
So let me ask. Let me ask Troy something real quick because Troy just got in. Troy, welcome to the show. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Warsaw, Poland again right now.
All right. Are you picking up train stragglers?
Man, it's always a good time in Poland. It's always a good time.
Troy is still killing it, guys. I've seen it with my own eyes. He is pulling some baddies. Troy, listen, today's episode, right? We're talking about feminism's dead. We feel like the edginess, the veneer of feminism being cool, everything. I think it's kind of worn off and it's played its part. And I think that there are kind of chinks in the armor here going forward. And I don't know. I think it's on its kind of its last leg. What do you think?
I don't know. I think you need to spend more time in
Troy,
America.
ask Troy.
Okay.
Well, a lot of women that I meet disavow feminism, but that, generally speaking, that's probably because I'm spending a lot of time in Eastern Europe and places like that.
We're talking about a global perspective here.
Yeah, I mean, well, have you covered the Italian election yet? Have you covered
That's on the
Georgia?
roster as well.
Yeah.
I just want to make the point. I was actually in Italy on the day that went through, that she was elected, which was kind of interesting. There was kind of buzz in the streets in Rome. So, I mean, I obviously we'll get onto that in a minute, but there's certainly pushback for sure. There's certainly pushback, and actually, I think there's a difference between what people say online versus what people say actually in real life. I think most people that I meet in real life, they're disavowing a lot of the stuff, that the narrative that's portrayed online, and they're actually a lot more measured and a lot more realistic. So, yeah, I think there's a pushback. I think Ryan's point about inflation is really well made as well. I think that's definitely making a difference. So, yeah, I think things are shifting out there for sure, man. From what I've seen.
Where is James Tusk? Can you pull him out from under a pile of cocaine and get him on here? Or
I think he's actually clinically dead at the moment, so probably that's not possible. But going to be meeting up with him next week in Georgia, actually, of all places. So
all right, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, right? So I do think there's multiple things that are kind of reawakening. You guys, are we good on this? I can move on to the next. I got a couple things on the dossier.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to rip into Jordan Peterson later today, so stay tuned. Don't forget about that one, boys. That's at the end of the show.
I would
think it's important that we look at, colleges. Are women stopping going to college? I think that's a big sign of whether or not.
But can they? Because this whole bullshit.
And now what they're talking about, student loan forgiveness and stuff. So now the women are getting a free ride to go to.
It's not really forgiveness because it comes off their taxes.
Well, they don't realize that. They don't see that. And that comes off of other hardworking blue collar people's taxes too, that had nothing to do with college or student loans. I've never taken out loans. I've never been in debt other than my mortgage. I've never taken a car loan. I don't believe in it. I think it's dumb. I think you're putting yourself under somebody's boot the second you do that.
Feminism
if you're not taking a loan on a appreciating asset, you're doing something stupid, in my opinion. I'm not an economist, but that's just how I feel about it. And I feel like my life's gone pretty well because I've avoided those pitfalls of putting myself into debt. I don't have a credit card debt. I don't do loans, but you see more and more women, they're still pushing towards those things that feminism lifts up. And then I see, I've got young kids, so I'm around other parents who are young kids, and I see what they're doing. And they may not be saying and preaching feminism, but they're acting in the way in coordinates with what feminism is pushing.
That's because feminism isn't an
Troy is around
John.
women
it's a tactic.
John,
and also that they're anti-feminist. You can talk to plenty of women who say they're anti-feminist, but when they turn around and their behavior is exactly in line with what the feminists are pushing, it's still feminism.
I agree with you. There's a couple things. One,
shut up and take my money.
Thank you for the donation. One, you're in ground zero of hell. You're in California. That's your
I'm smelling Satan's asshole every day.
You are in feminism ground zero, and California is disgusting in every way, especially with the taxes. I mean, you're suffering from every angle, like the divorce, the taxes, the fucking environment, being around all the Karens. You're in ground zero, and I get that, right? I'm also telling you, Americanism, Westernism in general is being pushed back now more than ever on a global.
I would call it modernity.
Right? No. I'm talking about the Western thing, because Putin talked about this in his speech recently. Bro, yes, you guys think people just think like everybody in Asia is just yeah, America, fuck our Asian culture. We've been here for thousands of years, but let's fucking eat hamburgers and cheese fries. These people out here are racist, dude. People are no, I don't like Americans. America sucks.
Most racist people I ever met were Chinese. Number 2 were Japanese. And then the third was a couple people I met from Africa, and they were black people, and their racism was against black Americans.
Yeah. And
so on your thing, John, though, it's feminism isn't an ideology; it's a tactic. It weaponizes the male protective instinct for female benefit. So they're not thinking, well, I'm not going to go get that debt because that's going to fuck me over in the future. They're thinking, I'm going to nag until everybody pushes it so I can go to college and do what I want. And then the debt's coming, and they're like, I'm going to nag until I get my student loan forgiveness. And because you love women so much and you don't want them to see them suffer, you'll do it. not you, but like the simp taxpayer type guys and the politicians that want their votes. And then when this causes an inflation issue, they're going to find some way to try to nag something that they want out of that. They're not long-term thinkers. On a macro level, it's just about, if I nag men and shame them and guilt them and manipulate them and promise them sex, they'll do what I want. And they figured out how to make that work on like a macro level. And that's all feminism is.
Yeah, it's the control arm. It's feminism is really the control arm of kind of centrism. So when you look at the student debt forgiveness, I remember I talked about that back in March when Elizabeth Warren was talking about, we need to twist Joe Biden's arm to make good on his campaign promise of absolving or of student debt forgiveness, because 2/3 of that debt is held by women, and therefore we need to give women a fighting chance so that they're not encumbered with debt their entire lives that they took on themselves. As a result of this narrative for the last 45, 50 years of you can do it all, here's a Title IX, here's all this special dispensation, here's a grant for you, here's a Pell Grant, here's a loan, here's this, because you're a woman and we want to get you into STEM, we want to get you into this, we want to get you into that. And we've been doing that since really the mid 70s. And here we are once again in 2022 with a student debt load of $1.7 trillion. Okay, 2/3 of which is owned by women. So of course that's going to be a great issue in a midterm election year, and that's going to be a hot button. And of course, naturally, we get the half measure of, not even a half measure, that just like a throwing the ladies a bone for $10,000, of a $100,000 to $200,000 amount.
Stop right there. So you're telling me this is connected to votes?
All of this is connected. Well, this part right here for sure is connected to votes, because if you want to look at, remember we had this discussion on this show, actually. Remember when the leak, the SCOTUS leak came out, and they were saying, the SCOTUS is going to weigh in on Roe v. Wade. Of all years they could be doing it. It happened to be 2022, right? They could have done this a long time ago, but they didn't until now, because they wanted to have some sort of agitation to get the little ladies to the polls, because they know damn well that women are the ones who are going to decide votes.
Honestly, how long were they mad for? Less than 1 month?
Exactly. And so then you've got all these companies piling on. Don't worry, we're going to give you a stipend so you can cross state lines and go get an abortion if you need to, and then you can come back and work for Amazon or Morgan Stanley or Starbucks or whoever. Right? That enters the narrative. And then the whole reason for that is because what Ryan is saying here is that women are very easily manipulated through emotions. And what is the emotion that triggers them the most? It's not sex, it's fear. It's FOMO. It's
need for comfort.
Exactly. It's security. It's security. Feed them fear and sell them security. And that's exactly what they're doing. Because if you go and by the way, next weekend, 7th through the 9th of October is going to be the great worldwide Women's March once again. Funny how that's happening in the month, just 1 month prior to the elections. I wonder what's going on there. Well, the reason for that is, by the way, I should also point out the student loan side of things. I got educated by George Gammon about this. George Gammon said it will never happen. They will never absolve student loans. They might throw, they gave him $10,000, sort of like a coupon, right, for the student loans, but they will never absolve that, because that
gun control.
It's actually one of the biggest assets that the U.S. government has. You would think, well, that seems like debt. No. That's an asset. If people have to pay that back, they can borrow against that. And that's what I was like, wow, I didn't even think of it in those terms.
And it makes sense too. It's like you buy something that generates revenue. What is debt if not that? You're buying a debt and it provides a monthly revenue.
Yeah, they know good debt when they see it. And $1.7 trillion of good debt, they want to keep that.
Yeah. So let me catch up on these super chats real quick. Live from the PSYOP 499 super chats. Can y'all please discuss the connection between feminism, communism, Bolshevism, and I guess that's Judaism? No, because YouTube is owned by Jews. We can't say anything.
I'm gonna say, do you want to just nuke the channel now, John? Or
the string only leads to one place. H Dog, but who's H Dog? Hitler? Who the fuck is this guy? Yo, go watch somebody else, dude.
Can we get to the part? Can we get to the part where you just tell us it's all the evil juice?
Yeah.
Pat Stebbins in the house, man.
C. Durdick, $10 super chat. California is the descending colon of Western society. Agreed. Glenn Lawrence, $9.99. All the women I know that say they are not feminists all say men need to do better, but reject the notion that women need to hold themselves accountable. Yeah, duh. Like, because accountability in women are like oil and water. You can't ever try to hold a woman accountable.
I get into so much trouble when I say this. I brought this up with Jedediah Bila not too long ago. Is I'm of the opinion that if you were born after 1965, you're a feminist. Everyone you know, myself included, is a feminist, because we have had some form of feminist ideology in our upbringing, in our education, in our belief sets. When it comes to like women getting the right to vote, I mean, by inch or by mile. So when I hear women say, well, I don't identify as a feminist. Well, you don't identify as like Lena Dunham, okay? You don't identify as like, the fuchsia haired chick with, underarm pit hair and, marching in the streets. Yeah, of course not. But when I see like Republican women mouthing the same talking points that, Gloria Steinem like, or, even Tomi Lahren, who's supposed to be this, conservative chick who's also got run up the flagpole for also being pro-choice. So she's a feminist in that way. And so to identify as a feminist in 2022 or not is effectively meaningless.
Branding.
Exactly. It's like Ryan said, it's branding. It's 1,000% branding. But it's like, it's the cat's out the bag. Like, girls know, okay, there's no feminism when a girl is like super hot trying to get on a billionaire's yacht. She's not like, well, where's the fucking, take my money. What do you want to know my pronouns? Like, no, bitch, put on a bikini, get on the boat, or shut the fuck up, and we're going to find someone who will. Milagros, let me just catch up with this because it's fresh. And feminism makes women feel powerful. Women don't understand that they're not supposed to be powerful. They're supposed to be home. Feels over reality. Shout out to her. I want to show something else. So take a look at this. This guy used to be one of the biggest libtards out there. And let's talk about the number one thing America loves: gay people. So let's just take a look at this. This is from Bill Maher.
Born before 1946, that's Joe Biden's generation, identify that way. 2.6% of boomers do, 4.2% of Gen X, 10.5% of millennials, and 20.8% of Gen Z, which means if we follow this trajectory, we will all be gay in 2054.
The fact that that's even a joke, and on like, because gays are kind of like the untouchable class, right? And so you say anything regarded to that, then they're like, oh my god, but the prime minister of Italy was actually giving a speech, and she gave it in Spanish, but
she's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Well, okay, so like I get you on that, and that's a valid point, but hear me out. I'm not saying she's the next fucking champion of the world, okay? I definitely not saying that, but hear me out. The fact that she was allowed to have a platform where she said, quote, yes to natural families, no to the LGBT lobby, yes to sexual identity, no to gender ideology, yes to the culture of life, no to the abyss of death, no to the violence of Islam, yes to safer borders, no to mass immigration, yes to work for our people. Okay, this is a platform she ran on in an open, fair election and won. Okay, so she is a kind of like how can I put this? Like, she's an indicator of what people are wanting in
coal
culture.
mine.
Populist canary in coal mine. That's good.
Yeah, she's like, kind of like a beacon of like what's like a weather vane, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she was able to say that, because like the gays are like the untouchable class, so she was able to say that and get mainstream platform and get elected into office. That's fine. I'm not saying no politician's going to change this. What's going to happen is there's going to be a massive erosion away of people just saying, we do not want to put up with your fucking bullshit anymore. Because once you red pill somebody, you can't unred pill. You can put it back to the divorce.
John, what do you think she meant by yes to sexual identity, no to gender identity? Do you think she meant as in Man and woman.
Man and woman.
Right.
Man
Yeah.
and woman.
Okay.
Because she does follow up here. Actually, I'll just follow up with the second one here and I'll play it here. So this is because she calls it out for what it is, which is just it's consumerism masked as like being morally superior. And here's the clip right here. This is Giorgia Meloni.
This was like 2 years ago too.
Here, check it out.
Potrei farne tante altre di queste domande. A monte c'è quella che ci facciamo oggi: perché la famiglia è un nemico? Perché la famiglia fa così paura? C'è una risposta unica per tutte queste domande. Perché ci definisce, perché è la nostra identità. Perché tutto quello che ci definisce in questo tempo è un nemico. Per chi vorrebbe che non avessimo più un'identità e che fossimo solamente schiavi, consumatori perfetti. E allora è sotto attacco l'identità nazionale, è sotto attacco l'identità religiosa, è sotto attacco l'identità di genere, è sotto attacco l'identità familiare. Non devo potermi definire italiana, cristiana, donna, madre, no. Io devo essere cittadino X, genere X, genitore 1, genitore 2, devo essere un numero. Perché quando sarò solamente un numero, quando non avrò più un'identità, quando non avrò più radici, beh, allora sarò lo schiavo perfetto in balia della grande speculazione finanziaria, il consumatore perfetto. E questa è la ragione per la quale oggi noi facciamo tanta paura. Questa è la ragione per la quale oggi questo appuntamento fa tanta paura. Perché noi non vogliamo essere dei numeri, noi siamo qui per dire che noi non siamo dei numeri, noi difenderemo il valore della persona umana, di ogni singola persona umana, perché ognuno di noi ha un codice genetico unico e irripetibile. E questo, piaccia o no, ha del sacro. Lo difenderemo Dio, la patria e la famiglia, che fanno tanto schifo a qualcuno. Lo faremo per difendere la nostra libertà, perché noi non saremo mai schiavi e semplici consumatori in balia della speculazione finanziaria. Ecco la nostra missione, ecco perché oggi sono venuta qui. Scriveva Chesterton ormai più di un secolo fa. Vediamo se ve lo trovo. Fuochi verranno attizzati per dimostrare che 2 più 2 fa 4. Spade verranno sguainate per dimostrare che le foglie sono verdi in estate. Quel tempo è arrivato, signori. Siamo pronti. Grazie.
I love it.
I guess the big question is, how would you open?
She's basically, I mean, that's almost verbatim what Tate has been saying. And what I was going to say, John, is
there you go.
She was a guy saying this, would she even have a platform?
I mean, Andrew Tate.
I mean, they're already turning on her.
Have a platform.
They're calling her. They're calling her the female Mussolini.
Listen. One, Andrew does have a platform. It's on Rumble, and he got paid millions of dollars to go there. Two, he did get to #1 most Google person on the planet saying those things, and they only validated him by banning him. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, Rollo. I agree with you that if a man had it, blah, 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 like, yeah, fucking, you know, but the thing is, oh, there he is. There he is. The #1 person that hates liberals in America as much as me. I'm so glad he has joined the show. Good morning, sunshine. Did you have a nice coffee in your hot tub?
I have had a coffee right here. I had it in my bed. I played video games pretty late last night.
We're talking about how much we hate America. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm not liking it, no, and there's definitely more aspects I hate than I like. Yep.
Listen. Okay, so anyways, but going back to that, Rollo, I agree with you that a man shouldn't have said it. But the thing is this, I think if a man said it, he would be accepted, right? But they just don't have the balls to do it because everybody plays everybody's playing safe.
I mean, Trump and DeSantis are saying similar things.
Does he get elected? Does he get elected as a prime minister of Italy by saying verbatim exactly the same thing she said?
Well, Bolsonaro in Brazil, he's saying those things.
Yeah, he is. You know?
I'm with you, Rollo. Like Pierre Poilievre is doing the same conservative thing here, and even him, he had to cheerlead his wife out in front. She gave a speech about basically marrying the guy who's going to run the country was her big accomplishment. So I'm with
Yeah,
you.
but
I don't think
Canada
men and women
sucks.
have changed, even if the sentiment now is based on an economic
Well,
insecurity.
what I see is the same dynamic that was going on in the MRA movement way back in like the 2014, 2015, where we get women to stick up for us, more or less. We get Christina Hoff Summers to go and basically mouth the same shit that and use the same data that, you know, Paul Elam and Dean Esme and the rest of these guys from A Voice for Men have been like, you know, blathering on about for a decade up to that point. But it took a woman to go up there and actually go on CNN and say the same things, because if it's a guy that's saying it, oh, he's just an incel, he's just you know, he's just bitter, and so who hurt you? That's the question that's going to happen. We don't take it seriously unless it comes from a woman, and that, by the way, is evidence of exactly what I was saying a minute ago, is that gynocentrism has become so endemic and has assimilated so much that a guy saying that is the big H dog, right? And the woman saying that she's a revolutionary.
Yeah.
So listen, so what's your angle, Rolo? Are we all just fucked and we're ruined? Do we got to buy your book to save ourselves, or what?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
No, it's like, the things aren't changing. They're not changed. It's got a different flavor. He's right. Women are still women. They're still going to want a man at 28 and have the epiphany phase, and at 35 they're going to research. Same as your little chart.
You'll know
nothing changes.
You'll know feminism is dead when a man can do that, can say that exactly those things, and gets elected.
Yeah, there's been some quite tortured think pieces in more liberal media outlets about Georgia, and about how, on the one hand, it's great because she's Italy's first female premier, but on the other hand, it's bad because of the things she's saying. So I think the fact that she's a woman makes it difficult for people of a more liberal mindset, because, you know, they want to celebrate, and so it makes she's harder to criticize because she's a woman. But also now they're in this dilemma of like, oh, she's a woman, which is good, but oh, she's saying these things and I don't like that, which is bad. So,
and that's my point is the whole fucking scam is falling apart, because I thought women are the best and the women know better than men. But whoa, not you, woman. Don't woman like that. Don't woman like that. You got a woman like this. You got to fucking love what we want. Let me catch up real quick with super chats, and I want to get Cappy's take on everything. Yanni, $10 super chat. Check out the hemline index economic theory that women become conservative during bad economic times and slutty during prosperous
1920s flappers.
Brian, spot on. Live from PSYOP. Rule 0, we can't discuss that. They'll nuke our channel. Also, Rule 0, this idiot thinks they run everything. Colored me confused. Dude, you're weird, but keep sending the money, man. I'll read whatever you write. Shout out to you and H Dog.
So hey, one thing also, not even just the prime minister being elected as a woman saying those things is you know, a sign of feminism dying. But until a worker at a big corporation can say those things, can send out a mass email and talk about, hey, this is scientific. This is scientific data about men and women and the differences between men and women, and that guy can keep his job like James Damore did. When feminism is dead is when that guy can do that, and everybody's like, okay, then it's dead.
So listen, I'm not saying feminism's dead, but I'm saying we're starting to see the incurable cancer spread to the vital organs. And it's not like, you guys are such doom and gloom. You got to get out from fucking behind your computer screens. Like, if you go out and live in the real
so this
world,
is what I'm saying too, though, Jonathan, is that they want it to die. The people in control, the ruling class, right? The elites, the people who have hundreds of billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, they want everything to collapse, because then they can come in with the robot dogs, with machine guns strapped to the robot dogs' backs, and lock us all down like in China. But China, you have a social credit score. Oh my God, you used too much energy this week. We got to shut you down. You posted something wrong on social media. You don't get to leave your house this week.
John, when we come to California, you got to give me some of that fucking fire ass weed you're smoking. Okay.
I think the rumor's true that they actually
I'm on a break. I haven't smoked in like a month.
Or do you think that's fake?
First of all, let's ask Aaron. So Georgia claims in that speech that they want to destroy the family because basically, you know, the big business or like the money men want to capitalize, etc. But it's easier to market to a big demographic like women with families, right? If it was homogeneously everyone was just a family, that would be super easy for big business to market to. That would be much more monetizable than 75 genders or whatever. So I think there's a logical flaw. I think her rhetoric is great, but I think it's logically
I don't know though, because I come from big families. You know, my grandmother was one of 9 daughters. My dad was the oldest of 7 kids. when you have those families, you don't spend a lot of money. You don't shop a lot. You fix things. You have
Single women
hand-me-downs.
do spend. And I'll say this:
you
one
get a hole in your
pride
shirt,
flag
you fix
can
it. You get a hole in
cover
your
the
socks,
entire
you fix
world's
it. You get a hole in
marketing.
your underwear, you fix it. You have people and kids to do the work for you. You don't hire people on the outside. When you have a big family that's centralized and takes care of itself, you don't spend money.
No, because you're
Well, look at
happy
it this way:
you're
how much
happy.
money does it take for Starbucks to put a pride thing up, right? X amount of dollars to make the marketing, to build the material, whatever. Imagine if they had to do one for each country for their individual national holidays, a Canada Day and Independence Day. Instead, it's just way easier from a marketing perspective. Throw a flag on everything, and then you're done everywhere except for Saudi Arabia.
and then or just say this, Ryan. It's Christmas time. Guess what? Happy holidays. We got the Jews, we got the Kwanzas, we got the fucking Christians. You know,
that's cheaper, easier.
It is. It's a blanket statement, and it all. And guess, look, the reason all the fucking companies go super homo in fucking June is because of the ESG score, and the ESG score is put out by BlackRock. And if you follow the fucking money, you just know it's all about money. It's all about money. It's all about money and votes. Speaking of money,
control.
Speaking of money, it's
power.
about Aaron Clary.
Money and votes. That's his backbone of his brand.
John, put up. There's a Tom Kinnock put a comment in there. Can you put that up real quick?
Yeah, go up. Aaron, go in the meantime.
What do you want me to talk about?
Rant, damn it.
Just rant on how you hate America and like they deserve the shit.
Out for us.
Break down the Scooby-Doo mysteries. Just let all the
all
vitriol.
right. I'm firing up now. All right. So here, I think there might be some confusion. I apologize for not being here for the previous hour of conversation, but it sounds like you have two different ideologies: one of feminism, one of socialism, happening at the same time and not being congruent either in Italy or if you elect a conservative or a not leftist woman. If you think feminism is dying, I absolutely don't believe that. I think feminism is the natural default state of women if they don't need a man, of which I've made points before that because of technology advances in the economy, white collar work, and a welfare state. Now that you've given women a choice, they don't need a man. By and large, they don't want a man, and they're only going to settle for a very few select men like Troy Francis. But absent that 1 in 10 event, for the most part, women's ideological interests are aligned, if not identical, to socialism. So there hasn't been any problems thus far. So when you get a conservative woman or a libertarian woman or just a woman who isn't going on the feminism train, the people who are on the left, whether that's the United States, Italy, or United Kingdom, or wherever, pearl clutching. Oh my God, she's a traitor, because their ideology is free shit. Their ideology is not working, which we euphemistically call socialism. So you're going to have that, like you're a traitor to the cause, blah, blah. I mean, look what happens to anyone in the black community or American Indian or natives over in Canada. You're off the reservation, you're off the plantation, you're an Oreo, you're an Uncle Tom, that kind of thing. So I think that's what you're witnessing. But is feminism dead? No. The only way feminism will be dead is well, it won't. I think it's part of the hardwired programming of every woman. Is if you get back to bad economic times where you can't go major in fluffy bunny studies and go right for Boldy and get a subsidy and bailouts and Section 8 housing and et cetera, where you have to now have a man to support and protect and provide and provision, as someone once said. And then it'll go away. That'll go away. The behaviors will change. But if things get good enough, if you give women an option, women are going to act on their thing. It's like, I want the best.
What is their thing? What do you think their thing is?
Help remind me. What was that now? The operate on the thing. Repeat what I said. So
you were saying that because you're trying to tell me, you're trying to come from a perspective that when women have all their needs met, that they don't want men.
Correct. The vast majority of men, they want men, but only absolute top tier men.
So I'll push back on that. I think that's what they report in the data. But the reality is, I mean, Troy and I see this shit all the time, man. These bitches settle for nothing. I mean, they say it, Like, because if I told you, because I know you, Aaron, right? If I told you what's the ideal woman you want a busty white woman with red hair that is ready to fucking do whatever you want.
You got it.
Do you have that now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Right. No, I mean, you'd settle, but and everyone does to a certain extent, unless you get lucky. But I'm taking more of a macroeconomic. I'm sure you guys know guys that, okay, yeah, these girls go out with trash. I'm looking at more of a macroeconomic view when I did the book of numbers. And especially we have the benefit, what really just kind of exposes women's lack of interest in men, in my opinion, has been online dating data. The sheer volume and effort that men put into women as women put into men. And then, it's always the cart before the cart before the horse. Like, has feminism hoodwinked women, and this is a program we're putting on top of women, or is it firmware that comes with women? And we're talking 3.5 billion women on the planet. Obviously, not every woman is the same. Obviously, some women actually like men and love men, and they're just happy to have men. But those are the exceptions, not the rules. So I'm still on a macro view. If we were to take the totality, I'm sure there's some douchebags with, unkept beards and think that it's a 1976 motorcycle movie and they wear sunglasses indoors. Even those guys get girls, but I just that view, that model describes more accurately what I'm seeing in the real world than women have just been hoodwinked. And so that's why I see the incongruency between feminism, social. Like, you could see oh my God, they're not supporting the women. It's like, yeah, because they're socialist first, and trait politics is what they use to advance socialism. But again, not every one of every particular group that the left uses is going to get in line and promote socialism.
Let me catch up with these super chats real quick, and then we're going to get the opinion of everybody else. Kyle 2020, $5 super chat. Matt Walsh got called an incel, yet he's married with 6 kids. He spoke about this yesterday. It's nothing but a tool to shut up political opposition. Yeah, but again, it's like, oh, you're so fucking original. Let me see. You're going to call me an incel. You say my dick is small.
Who
and
hurt you?
Call me some kind of blah, 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 blah.
I'm a virgin.
You're still hurting. You're angry.
Mommy issues.
At the end of the day, that's all they have, because kind of what Rollo says, the only value they can really attribute to life is sexuality, C. Surdak, $10 super chat. Liberalism, feminism, homosexuality, money printer gober, and handouts. 5 common themes to the end of every human civilization. Bingo. And then we got a big one here. JCL.
Shut up and take my money.
Unrelated, Cappy. What are your What are your top 5 books on economics and that readers should
beginners?
Dude, okay, no.
Book of console.
Why can't I promote my stuff?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Your books.
My books.
Go ahead.
Happy. What? Obviously, Batch of Pat Economics.
Communist Manifesto.
Top 5 in general, you egocentric idiot. But go ahead.
Top 5 books on economics that beginners should help them read. Trading and investing. Oh, I thought you meant my books. Trading and investing. Never mind. I don't know, because I learned it through school and work, so I don't have any books you can read. Sorry.
Just drink the coffee, you'll wake up.
Jesus.
Come on, man. Podcast, $20 super chat. Feminism isn't dead yet, correct? But you know the concept of good men create good times create weak men create bad times. Yeah. The pendulum is about to swing back because we're in the bad times. Exactly. Going forward here, I think we have 2 more. Surdak again is just dropping all the big cash. Morgan Stanley flat out admitted what's up. It's all about the she economy women consume, and that's what the plutocracy. What is plutocracy?
It's
like
people who run
by the rich for the rich.
Oh, I thought it was oligarchy. All right,
but that's not new. MasterCard comes out with reports every year. Back in 2007, they already reported that women were a $14 trillion a year industry and men were 4. It's like this is not new.
Spending as women.
Yeah. Women are on international menstrual synchronicity. As long as they're able to communicate and join labor unions, feminism can't die. You guys are retarded. You need to get outside of America. Like, you guys just think fucking like, oh my God, there's just like this this global imperialistic feminism movement sweeping the globe. The majority of women on the planet aren't fucking feminists.
They are, but they just don't think they are.
The brand of feminism.
Or your books, Captain.
Okay, yeah. A Batch of Pat Economics, obviously. More modernly, I would absolutely. The first thing you should take is Achieving Financial Excellence through my Teachable course. That one lays the philosophical groundwork. Yeah, Fitch took it. So take that one, Achieving Financial Excellence, and then the other books would be Bachelor Pad Economics, Poor Richard's Retirement, and then what was the other one? If You're Going to College, Worthless, but that's secondary. But then you build like that.
I gotta say, what I loved about Cappy's course was like a relief knowing that I'm not a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like listening to somebody who's smarter than me and knows economics, and like I'm like, yes, I've been telling people.
Yes. Listen to the guy who looks like Charlie Mason and say he's a normal.
Manson.
John LD makes a really good point though, which is that you've got to get out of your basement and you've got to get off the internet and get out into the real world. And I mean, it's
that's
sort
all
of like
you, John, Rollo, Ryan, Aaron. You guys gotta
get out into the real world. Yeah, everything online is fake. Everything is fake. I try to instill this into my sons because they're like, oh well, I want to watch this YouTube creator, and it's some 35-year-old guy is playing Minecraft, and he talks like a weird.
Leave Ryan out of this.
Well, Ryan's not doing content for kids though. All right, he's not making content for children. Oh my God, look at this, and they're talking. Oh yeah, and they talk like this, and it's like that's really weird. If you're a 35-year-old man and you're playing video games in order to get children to watch you to make money, that's weird. It's just weird. And a lot of, I'm thinking there's no way that this is that popular. It's all fake, inflated numbers. It's not real. So if you're consuming certain things on the internet, it's going to keep feeding you similar things on the internet, and you're going to get put in this little box where you think everything is, oh my God, the women are all trying to get me. They're all coming for me. It's the elves coming for me. Because like you're going to get the same viewpoints and the same people in the same circles. Go outside and talk to people. When you actually talk to somebody face to face, they do not support these crazy ideas that you're getting on your timeline.
And here, let me show you something else, because this adds to my point. Okay, how consistent is this? Because the New York Times just put out an article saying that there are hundreds of top surgeries that are being performed on children. Top surgeries are mastectomy, the total removal of female breast tissue, and it is a euphemism for bilateral mastectomy, the removal of both breasts.
My money. You're doing it for 13-year-old girls, man.
Listen. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, you tell me, how sustainable is this for the average American person? And look at this. I mean, look at the boy, look at the girl, and look at the Karen. How sustainable is this? How long can these people are going to grow up and have a voice eventually? You guys know there's already a massive de-trans movement in China and in America, of people who are like, they have transitioned. And the majority people who transition have like literally undoable regrets. The majority of them regret this process.
It doesn't change the instances of suicide, whether they've gone through the change or not.
Here's the thing, though, to your thing, John, and your thing, John. How many trans people are there? Like, really? Do you guys even know? They kind of do studies, and they say like 10% of the population is gay. That's like single digits. And of those, single digits of that population are trans. So it's like 0.0 something percent of the population. It's a rounding area. There's as many furries as there are trans people. But you put every trans person on TV, and now it's like everybody's trans. And that's when the Bill Maher speech was talking about a third of people identify as LGBT. They're not gay. They're the same as like wiggers in the 2000s. Those people weren't black.
Yeah, back in the 90s, we used to wear cross colors in our shirts backwards. Now they're cutting their boobs and
tap out shirts with your gut hang, like all that shit.
Affliction shirts. Remember Affliction shirts with the shiny? I still have some somewhere with the tinfoil on them, all shiny.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you guys.
Money to wear those.
The transitioning kids, that's horrible. But that's like such a small proportion that they have to show all of them to get any reaction at all. And then the detransitioning one is an even smaller percentage of them. Meanwhile, 6 regular, normal guys are sitting here giving an inordinate amount of attention. I'm not slamming it. We got to entertain to this thing that just doesn't exist. Like, have you guys ever, well, maybe John, have you guys ever, I've never met a trans person in my life. And it's not because I'm hiding or I'm scared or anything like that. It just never comes up.
And I'm pretty sure I live in the Bay Area.
Yeah, John has. I definitely have. I've seen them all over. Seen them in Thailand. Seen them in Japan. Seen them
Okay,
in
the
in
Thailand ones.
Thailand,
Okay,
Thailand's a
fair.
little
Thailand,
different.
then yeah, me
Back
too.
in
But
Brazil,
other than
was it
Thailand, the lady boys don't count, in my opinion.
Oh no, they do. They
a
do.
lot in Brazil.
I'm
May
not
I-
John Anthony. They don't
Yeah.
count.
And let me tell you
Nice.
something.
Yeah.
In Japan, if you want to, let me just add some hope to the world. Okay, in Japan, if you want to transition, you legally have to chemically castrate yourself before you do it. It's by law. You have to chemically castrate yourself in Japan if you want to transition fully to the other side.
I can see
Because
that.
they know that it's probably not a long-term solid investment.
Well,
Soldier,
my ex girlfriend, who was brought up in Dubai, used to say, in Dubai there's only 3 genders: male, female, or jail.
Soldier
True.
for Christ, we're at war. $10 super chat. Paul in the Bible was a top G. I do not allow women to speak or exercise authority over a man. Praise the Lord. The fact that she is even allowed to speak the good things she is saying is still the result of feminism. What a
Girl is
what
he
a
talking
bundle
about?
of- yeah, the Italian PM.
Oh,
J Pod $10 super chat. Feminism is biological internal. Oh my God, just no. Hey, where'd my camera go? But
look, you guys, you broke his camera with your
Probably
nonsense.
overheated. Mine does that when it overheats.
yeah, what changes men have been removed from educating their children, i.e., public schools and divorce. I agree with the public schools and divorce.
Mhm.
R. Sid, feminism is dying, but gynocentrism is alive and
Mhm.
well. Agree. Let me keep going here, and then we got another one. Soldiers for Christ is back. Also, feminism has been in existence from the beginning, in my opinion. Eve was the first feminist. All right, now you're going off the deep end. She chose herself over God and her husband. Adam was the first simp. He chose Eve over God and his purpose. Well, we're all doomed.
Lilith
Guys
was
are
the
here.
first.
We're all doomed. We're all gonna die. We're gonna have concentration camps. We're gonna be fed soy. We're gonna be slaves to women, and that's it. Okay, go ahead. Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you guys know who the director of the IMF is right now?
The Nazi-
Isn't it that
I
French
do.
gal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Kristalina Georgieva?
Christine Lagarde.
No,
Lagarde.
that's the ECB, by the way. Let's see. Christine Lagarde is, where is she? Christine Lagarde is the president of the European Central Bank. Another good one. Kristalina Georgieva, whatever. She is the IMF managing director, and she is also the managing director of the World Bank. If you go and you look at the world's financial institutions right now, and in fact, I believe it's like 16 of the westernized nations right now, or industrialized nations right now, are the purse strings are run and allocated, and spending is dictated by women. So
Became the Spartans, Rollo. Remember that in the divorce? Women get all the assets when the guy's murdered.
yeah,
Sparta now. You guys wanted your fucking
I
bent
made
ass.
this. I made this observation with Jedediah on a couple days ago. It's not about like a gender pay gap. It's not about earnings. It's about who is allocating the funds. How does this? What do we prioritize when a woman is in control of the ECB or the World Bank or the IMF or the Global Monetary Fund? Aaron, I'm drawing a blank here,
IMF
but
you're talking about?
The president is Lagarde.
International Monetary, So Lagarde. So and then you look at was it Janet Yellen? I think is she still the Treasury Secretary, or is it did she get replaced? I can't remember.
Had a MasterCard.
Right.
World
I mean,
Economic
when you look,
Forum
like
director.
it's not about like women will cry a river about like 77 cents on the dollar. It's so unfair. Patriarchy. It's an old boys club. No, it's not. Women earn worldwide. Women earn $18 trillion per year. They spend $28 trillion a year. Where did that extra $10 trillion come from? Men. So it's not about who's earning the money. It's about who's allocating the funds and what is it going to, and how is that spending changing society so that we have transgenderism. So we have these, so we can have 72 different genders, so that we can have the university systems the way they are. I was answering questions on that show also about like, how come, 77% of teachers from preschool all the way up to your postgraduate school are female right now? Why is that? Why does it seem like these universities are these communist socialist indoctrination camps? Or if you send your girl in and she's a good God-fearing Bible studying, girl at 18, she comes out of university at 22 and suddenly she looks like Lena Dunham, right? Why is that? Well, it's because we have ceded control and the spending and the allocations and the direction over to a female mindset. And that's what you get at the end of it. So when people say, well, if is feminism over, is gynocentrism over, or they don't really have as much control as you think they do, I would argue that they have quite a bit more than I think we're really recognizing.
Could I introduce a very simple concept that we could
Let me
use?
just add something. I want to double down on what Roll said. I agree, and I think it's a bad thing for the average guy. But the people that are watching us, it's the fucking best time ever to be a man, and it's the best time ever to catch W's. Go ahead, Cappy.
I was just going to say, if you want to see an index like you watch the stock index as to the power and success of feminism, just keep looking at obesity rates and the BMI index of women.
Yeah.
That I'm not joking, not even joking in the slides. That will tell you. That will tell you the direction of whether feminism is dying or not.
Oh, you know,
You're not joking. Isn't that what they use as a metric for if a world has become first world is like diabetes from obesity?
People around, just so you guys know, because of the modern lifestyle, obesity rates are going up across the globe, men and women. You know, that's across the globe. Soldier for Christ is back with another $10 super chat. However, I agree with MLD. Don't be a victim of the sin of feminism. Instead, be a G. Follow God, your purpose. Be fit, honoring your temple. Rule your household. The Bible teaches the solution of money, muscles, game frame. I like how you spin that around. Now I
want Soldier for Christ to subscribe to my channel so I can do
you
super
see,
chat.
you see
So
those,
I like the money he's dropping.
Oh,
on.
we know that.
Yeah, you see the Pokeball money. You see the Pokeball money.
I see it.
Anyways, I want to talk about this dating app, and then we're gonna talk about how we're
I
gonna.
love this thing.
Oh,
Okay,
we have to talk about the king of the simps too, crying them to.
That's last because I'm just gonna let you fucking go. I'm gonna let you go hammered. I'm just gonna turn off my mic and camera. Let you.
No. Oh God.
Listen. Check it out. Okay, this is one more thing I want to talk about. Okay, this is important. Here you go. Our boy Putin. He says he asked Russian people if they want to live in a country where mother and father become parent one and parent two, and accused Western ideology of being pure Satanism. In addition to that, right, they had a bunch of nations that they wanted to sign to like condemn. I think it was to condemn America in the UN. Was it America? And I think Russia said no. No, they wanted to condemn Russians' actions against Ukraine.
Take my money.
Oh yeah,
And
China vetoed, and a couple others.
India said no, Brazil said no, China said no, and then Russia said no, obviously. So that's because everybody just used to like, get in line and follow America. And like, it's just, that's really not the thing anymore. That's not the case anymore. And to top on top of that, right? When you talk to any guy, because I know we have a lot of people that watch us that are in the military, right? Veterans and active service members. Some of the best people I love watching my stuff because those guys are just so fucking based and dialed in with reality. I love to go out and drink with those guys. They're fucking awesome. Those dudes are telling you now more than ever, we can't find soldiers because everybody's a fucking pussy.
Yep.
And or they're fat.
Or they're out of shape. Fat.
You know?
Shut up and take my money.
Fat pussy.
Drone warfare
17 to 25-year-olds. It's an ugly look. It's ugly out there, man.
Did you guys ever see that? It was the 2009 report from the Pentagon called "Too Fat to Fight." They found the average 18 to 23-year-old person who's their prime demographic have the reflexes of 27-year-old fighter pilots and the physical endurance of 60-year-old chain smokers. It was the funniest thing I've ever read from a Pentagon paper, man.
Here's your answer for transgenderism.
Okay.
Study of over 600,000 adults finds that those who are transgender and gender diverse are 6 times more likely to have a diagnosis of autism than cisgender adults.
So you're telling me they're retarded?
How does that track?
It's almost like gender dysphoria is a mental disorder. Only somebody could define that in some sort of manual that diagnoses these things.
Let's see. Varn, $5 super chat. IMF is a global institution to convert humans from chimpanzees' behavior to bonobos permanently. They're not that smart, dude. You wish they were. They can't even stop crypto nerds. Kyle 2020 $2 super chat. My bro is trans W and narcissist. Coincidence? Yes. Okay. So you want to talk about the right stuff real quick? Because this is funny, and then we'll go into Jordan Peterson. but I think, like I said, this is look, it's signs of the times. And I'm telling you, bro, I'm gonna clean up on this app when I go back home. Let me show you. So we got this going on here. The countdown begins. Here we go. Let's see what these girls are saying. Oh, look at this fucking post-wall beauty.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan. I've got to tell you about something I'm so excited to announce. A dating app for all of us conservatives. It's called The Right Stuff, and it's launching this September. What I love most about it is that it's invite only, so not just anyone can join. First of all, it's free to use. And for my ladies, you'll never have to pay because we all get subscriptions for simply inviting a couple friends. Gentlemen, if you want access to premium, that's on you. And by the way, those are the only two options.
I love the cross. Praise
It's
the Lord.
prostitution.
It's ladies' night. That's what it is.
It's
Ladies
yeah,
drink for
but
free.
men gotta pay, women show up. Yeah, okay.
How is that different? How is that any different than Hinge or Bumble?
It is.
Well, if you guys ever used Hinge or Bumble, you'd know that women could pay and men could pay on there as well. It's
Right, but I'm just saying who doesn't. Okay, I meant in the terms of like who's doing the selecting. Women are the ones who are primarily doing the selecting in that. How is that like? This is once again another manifestation of feminism in the conservative mindset.
Wait, time out. No, it's not, because they're giving giving women free access because if a bunch of fucking dudes show up.
Oh yeah, that locks into the selection bias. But what I'm saying is like, how is that any different than say like Hinge or Bumble? What it does
exactly
is
the same as Ashley Madison.
It makes it primarily a female controlled site, meaning again that, oh, you're gonna, ladies, come over here to this dating app because there's a whole bunch of guys and we vetted them because they're actually conservative now and you might want to get with them, but it's still following the same tactics and the same template that any other, like, I don't know, average secular, whatever it is, dating app has already, like any feminist dating app, if you want to call it that, that primarily puts women in the primary position of selection, right? Why don't men get to select women?
No. They didn't say anything about selecting. What they said, and men do select the women. Bro, I swipe left on a fat bitch every time. I'm not picking no fucking behemoth.
But she doesn't hear from you unless she picks you. That's what I'm saying. Why doesn't it work both ways?
No, because if you swipe left, it takes you out of their swipe queue as well. It disqualifies them from the feed that they feed the woman, because there's options that when you swipe right, you can see who swipes right on you only, and then you can get a steady feed of
Yeah, no, that's not true, John, because back when I was using the apps, I would swipe left on plenty of women who ended up in my queue because I was doing the whatever, I was paying for the premium, and the premium lets you see everybody who swipes you.
Yeah,
I would have 10 girls on there that I'd swipe left on.
It's tournament ranking.
Because there's an option in the settings where you can turn it off, that all you want are people that have selected you.
I swear, because I would go through so many of the things just so that I would have more stuff. I swear that they would put them there anyways.
Were you high when you did this?
No.
Well, a lot of them are bots. Who was that? What was that report that just?
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Some of them are bots, and they're because they want you to feel like you're getting attention. They want you to feel like
going back to what Ryan said too about Ashley Madison. They had a huge scandal with nothing but bots on there.
Mm-hmm.
When they had bots, and it would be bots beforehand pretending to be somebody interested in you, and then you'd be like, oh, you can't read any more messages, gotta sign up, and then you would sign up, and then that fucking message disappear. How do I know?
Churn marketing.
Me when I was on Ashley Madison in 2014. Okay, so that's
the point. They have to get guys hooked on the site to spend money, so they had to use bots. Not enough women were on there.
Yep.
Going back to what you said, Roll. No, listen, because it's like a club, right? You give free drinks to women. You give free cover to women. Why? Why does any guy go to the club? Is any guy go? Dude, I'm ready to listen to some music,
can't wait to dance, bro.
I can't wait to dance, bro.
Margaritas and dance.
Get out there and dance with me, buddy. No, we're like, I am ready to fuck some sluts tonight, baby. We're gonna pop bottles. We're gonna get some hoes. I'm gonna fucking post nudes. It's gonna be awesome, bro. I'm gonna send it to the group chat. That's why guys go out. They don't go out to fucking like, oh, I want to dance. I love the music. Oh, I'm just want to dance with my guy friends tonight. And it's the same thing that they're doing here. There's and that's another thing. Conservative women are on the up. Their value, the market value is going high. People want conservative women. I don't want some like tattooed, lip pierced fucking Jezebel coming into my life. That's a potential fucking Me Too case coming from a mile away. And like, like for example, with Adam Levine, did you see that with one of those tattooed Jezebels that he was sending nudes to, and you like wonder she exposed him? This chick looked like fucking a super goth chick, all tatted up.
Well, yeah, it's not you want conservative women, you want hot conservative women. And the problem with this app is all these conservative women are all like, I guarantee you they were feminists at 23.
Epiphany phase.
They're 29 now, and they have baby rabies, and now they're conservative because that's their best chance of getting a man.
I'll agree with you, but it's better than dealing with some fucking Jezebel at that age. Because if you're 45 and you score a 29-year-old, you're like, hey, this is
shot. Granted.
Listen, if you're 45 and you score a 29-year-old, you're like, okay, this is a W. Okay, because I don't want fucking some 42-year-old woman to have to ask her about her progesterone levels on the first date. I don't want to be dealing with that shit. Anyways, I'll let this play.
Ladies and gentlemen, the right stuff is all about getting into the right dating pool with people who share the same values and beliefs as you. You'll start off by building your perfect profile. No pronouns necessary. We want you to put your best foot forward, which includes your favorite photos of yourself doing what you love or being with the people you love. Prompts give you the opportunity to let people know various sides of you. So remember, be authentic and creative. We're sorry that you've had to endure years of bad dates and wasted time with people that don't see the world our way, the right way. Okay, once you're in the app, you have the ability to scroll through profiles of people in your area, but you can also adjust the settings to see anyone, anywhere. Once you've liked a couple people, you're ready to post a date. You can either keep your options open and post it for everyone to see, or just post it to the people you've liked. This concept is all about getting you out there and getting you on dates. So you'll go to the bottom navigation, click on dates, and then you'll go to the top right-hand corner and hit the plus button.
Where's the other commercial? One that had a bunch of the girls rotating through.
And you also have the luxury of choosing the dates that you would like to go on. In the app, you can see everyone who's liked your profile. And if you like them back, you can start chatting with them. It's that simple. So if you're a young conservative looking to amp up your dating life, go to joinrightstuff.com to gain early access. We need to get back to the right way of dating. See you there.
Oh, I'm pumped.
Dude, I love that line. I know you've had such bad dudes in the past.
Get back to
we'll find you a good one.
I see this as an absolute win. I know you guys need to leave your mother's basements. This is an absolute solid W.
It's gonna be a win.
How could you hate this?
Just not for the reason that the girls think.
I like how they put Hillary Clinton. That woman had a nice Hillary Clinton outfit on. They put her as the emissary to everyone to sell this thing.
The Kim Jong-il outfit, you like that?
Yeah.
We got another one. Here we go. Let me catch up with these super chats. Reduku says that app is super gay. Shut up and take my money. All right. Thanks so much. Sean Goggins. Ryan is wrong. I know several trans people, all young or kids, and I'm in the Christian conservative Bible Belt. Oh, Lord.
Take my money.
That's no good. I mean, it's great. We love gays.
You might need to take a harder look at your life, man.
JPod, $5 super chat. What's the difference between feminism and gynocentrism? Rollo's books.
Already covered it.
Already covered it. August Alsina, $2 super chat. Dating older woman is a W. I don't know about that.
Low-hanging fruit.
Well, he didn't say dating. He said sleeping with.
C. Surdak, $10 super chat. Does the app make these town bicycles list all of the SCs they collected in their 20s?
Oh,
yes, that's on page 2.
Come on, man.
That's on page 2. I want to play another app. I want to play one more. I want to play one more. Here we go. You ready? We got a black girl now.
This is gonna be Aaron's favorite one.
Oh yeah, This is hot. I'm ready. Here we go. Oh baby, show me those flabby arms.
Warm it up.
Oh yeah, girl.
Oh, I got a chubby already.
I want to go to the library.
Oh baby, that's the one. That's when she's going straight to South Dakota for you, Clary.
The guys they date. What are you looking for in a partner?
They just have to be a conservative.
Definitely someone that wants to have kids.
I like an independent man. Personally, I like the alpha male vibe.
Oh, Clary, she's coming for you. She's bringing pies too.
30-odd sick elephant gun.
Definitely someone who's faith is important to them.
For me, it's someone who actually wants to meet my parents.
Why do you want to date a conservative?
I'm like the guy you've dated up to now.
Well, the conservative men I've dated at least know how to treat me like a woman.
In my personal experience, conservative guys have better manners.
I like that they understand their role in the relationship as a man.
I just
These are
prefer my men
bots.
to be masculine.
And what's the biggest red flag when it comes to dating?
A Democrat. No Democrats.
A Democrat. Can't be a Democrat. A Democrat. That's easy. A Democrat.
No Democrats. So no.
Hey, you're in there, Aaron. I think you're a libertarian, right?
Hey, listen, the fact that this even has a platform is a solid W. You guys
Dude,
can
this
be
is-
negative and cry about it all you want in your mother's basement.
I'm not
feeling
negative.
you.
I
John,
think it's hilarious.
you gotta,
how
this is all part of the plan, man. This is all part of the plan.
Listen,
Divide and
They're
conquer.
literally saying, I don't
Divide
want
and
to be with
conquer.
that man who pump and dumped me last
They've
year.
got
I
to,
want
they've
you
got
to
to
be nothing
destroy
like my
everything
asshole
to
ex.
rebuild.
It's a solid W. I don't care what anybody says.
You're looking too shallow at this, John. You're looking too
Yes.
shallow. This is a much deeper plan to destroy everything so they can lock everything down.
Stop. Girls are epiphany.
Okay,
They have
no,
baby
wait,
They
wait,
rape.
hold
want
on,
to
hold
divide
on,
and
hold on.
conquer. They want civil war so they can send out the robot dogs.
So
They
okay,
got
I'm
the
gonna, John, go
drones.
ahead.
Robot dog.
They got the,
Go ahead.
they
Go
got
ahead. Just
Starlink. They got what's his
wait, hold
name?
on.
Sending up
John,
Starlink
John,
satellites.
John,
Private,
hold on.
private
Let me just
individuals sending up military grade
John,
satellites all over the
John.
place.
let me just lay the foundation for you to go on a rant, okay? You tell me, how does this right-wing dating app lead to cybernetic AI dogs coming to kill everybody? Go ahead.
Would you like to
It's
know
more.
more?
It's the oldest trick in the book. Divide and conquer. Right. The bigger the wedge they can drive in between conservatives, so-called conservatives, and liberals, Democrats and Republicans. Right. They paint this Overton window of that's all the choices you have. You have two choices, the right side or the left side. That's it. That's all you got. So they create more and more distance between those two sides. They get more and more fighting. They want us to start fighting in the streets. You had a Democratic guy run over an 18-year-old kid because he said he was a Republican extremist. That was just 2 weeks ago or something. Murdered him, straight out murdered him because they had a political disagreement. The guy didn't even get bail. Luckily, because social media and people made a big stink about it, he's getting tried for murder. He might not have gotten tried for murder. Right?
But
they get more and more of this
situation
division
that's happened.
between people.
There was justice served.
They want everything to collapse. They want society to collapse because that's the only way they can build back better. They can't build back better if everybody is homesteaded and can make their own stuff and everybody's getting along and everybody has big families. They can't do that. They have to isolate people. They have to keep people away from each other. That's why with COVID, you couldn't go to bars and restaurants. Right? They wanted to keep people away. They wanted to stop them from associating with each other. They don't want you talking to your neighbor. They don't want you sharing ideas and stuff with people. They don't want ideas shared on the internet. They want to isolate, destroy everything. They want us to tear each other apart. They want more and more division. Right? So I don't see this as the big win that you're saying it is. I think it's more signs of this push for division so that everything will collapse. They keep printing money. They keep spending it on assets. They keep on assets that aren't going to depreciate. You know, they're buying the gold, they're buying the silver, they're secretly buying Bitcoin. Okay. They're trying to push a central digital banking currency where they can track money, all the money you spend. Oh, you spent too much money, and that money that you spent used too much fossil fuels. So now you can't drive this week. They want total control as they do in China. And these leaders have talked about it repetitively over and over again about how we love China. We love how China does things. China's got the best economic system. China's awesome. Trudeau outwardly said it.
John, a very small portion of China actually has that social credit system. And they're revolting.
The fact they have it at all is terrifying.
They're revolting against it right now. You got to get off Twitter, man.
We'll see.
Let me go here. Andy Miss Maximus, $4.99 super chat. That new dating app gives a hypergamy hyperloop for HMV high value man to pump and dump more efficiently, more like ice cream licking lectures to come. I'm ready.
Yep.
Our future MD1 $10 super chat. Can we just skip the smoke screen and have an app for hookers and direct play? Yeah, it's called Seeking Arrangement. These apps are all the same.
Not anymore.
It's all prostitution with extra steps. Exactly. I mean, we already got it, man. Seeking Arrangement, bro. Get up there, and then you have it. Okay, so We got one more. You want to see the CEO of the Right Stuff so you guys can make fun of him?
Yeah. Oh man, I don't.
All right, John, get your conspiracies ready. Wait, John, but you didn't connect how that comes. How does that connect to the AI dogs coming and killing everybody?
I mean, who do you think is going to be locking people down? You think they're going to send American soldiers? You think they're going to send American people against their own American people? No, they're the people that are coming in across the border who don't give a shit. They're like, oh, you're going to give me a bed and food? Okay, I'll shoot these people. And you're going to have the robot dogs. You're going to have drones. It's going to be automated. I did a show last Monday where the guy Jason was showing me in Israel on the gates they have automated AI machine guns. Okay, it's not a person like waiting for somebody to come. It's AI. So if it sees something, it shoots. There's no questioning. There's no whatever. There's no chance to reason with it.
Can we see what the CEO
technology is already there?
We're all
they have these little machine guns where you can just
got it, Tom. We're
Maybe
gonna go to
we have the saving Sarah Connor then, and then it stops it from happening.
John Fitch is correct. $10 super chat. John, you got people subscribing to your ideology here. Let's go to the CEO here.
You're goddamn right.
There we go. Looks like he's being interviewed by Donald Trump.
For too long, conservatives have been playing catch up.
That's Glenn Beck, right?
Tech.
Yeah.
So they have YouTube, and we have Rumble. They have Twitter. We have Truth Social, various other ones. What we need to do is to actually just get ahead. We want to not just catch up. We want to create a superior product, and we're able to do that by actually adding features that no one else has, which is something, again, that sets us apart. As one example only, we have something that we've created called Post Date. Whereas a lot of these apps have you sitting at home swiping. What we want to do is get people out on fun dates. So we've a section of the app where you can go on and post something fun. Hey, I've got 2 tickets to the Red Sox game, first base line. Who wants to go? And other people can see that and they can say, hey, I want to go. I'm a big Sox fan. Look at me. They can take videos. They can send messages. And the individual
overinvest right away.
Pick who he or she wants to take.
The girl monkey. I got banana.
Out on fun days rather than just sitting at home swiping and sending messages.
Dude, I look at that guy and all I can think of is, remember that? Hey, Homa, did you shine your head in the Shino Balo? No, sir.
Every time Rollo says Jedediah, I'm like, Jedediah Springfield, the founder of Springfield.
No, Jedediah Bila. Yeah.
I'll make a prediction. I think Rollo's going to echo this. This is just going to go down the exact same path of evolution as all the other dating apps, if it even makes it that long. It's you are not going to have a critical mass of people. It's just going to, it's just another dating app.
Here's what will happen. I agree with you. Here's my prediction. Let me get my words.
Dating app experts who have never used dating apps.
Yeah. But I know. Let's watch train ball here. Okay. Here's what's going to happen is they're starting out with good intent, right? Just like eHarmony started out with good intent, just like Tinder, just like maybe Grindr wasn't, but like it all started out with this good intent. And I will guarantee you, at some point they'll say, "Oh, ladies, so you can preset your preferences here. Would you like a guy who is, let's see, 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, 6'3", 6'5"? It will end up becoming about by women for women, and it will end up suffering from the same exact selection bias, because I don't care if it's a conservative woman or a liberal woman, they're still women, and the human machine is what it is, and women want what women want. So if they're going to be able to put in their preferences for physical features, if they're going to want to say, well, I got to have a guy, it's like Cappy, like the calculator, the delusion calculator. Type in just these little things. The reason why the female delusion and the male delusion calculators are so effective is because they're very, very simple, and they're very simple. It's very simple data. But when you put those in, what you're doing is you're looking at human beings' selection biases. And at some point, it's not going to matter whether you're liberal or you're conservative or whatever else. It's going to be, is he 6 foot tall? Does he make $100,000 a year? And does he, maybe does he love his mom and go to church on Sundays? Yeah. But the same thing is, it's not going to be about, I'm not going to be looking for a guy who's like 5'9" or 5'7", who is a great, Trump supporter. It's still going to go based on human evolution and human evolved adaptations and preferences that are going to find their way into that app eventually. Maybe they're not there now, but they will eventually be added as features. I guarantee it.
But why?
And let me add this.
Wait. I'm 5'10" and I've had plenty of sex on dating apps.
Yeah, but you live in a land of midgets.
No. This is international, big guy. I know you. I know. This is not.
Well,
This is
he's not
South
saying it like it's an
Dakota.
absolute, not 100% no chance if you're 5'11". What he's saying is
No,
it
I want
tilts
Cappy
the
to argue
scale
with
that
me.
direction.
Cappy, argue with me. Go.
No, I'm not going to argue with you. Here's your numbers.
Yeah.
You go look at women's. Now, admittedly, it's a Western bias. I grant you that. It's not Japan or Asia.
Written by people who have never used dating apps, slept with chicks off dating apps, and have no first-hand experience with chicks on dating apps. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
Would you have met those chicks if they had selected 5'9" as part of their criteria for meeting guys?
There's a sliding bar where you can filter out men by fucking height in Bumble.
Yeah. Would they have selected you had you been 5'9" rather than 5'10" because that selection bias or that slider was slid to 5'9"?
The point I'm trying to make is that the guys in my community, and this is a global community, we are not a bunch of 6-foot chads out there with like a bunch of money.
I'm not saying you're not successful. I'm saying that the app itself will still be predicated on women's preferences from the perspective of height or weight or income, whatever. Like it's still going to put those in there. Like the criteria for being a conservative or being a liberal is immaterial to other things like height and like basic anatomy.
I agree, but the guys can do the same thing on seeking arrangement. You can filter out by body size. You can filter out by height. You can filter out by age. You can filter out by weight. You can filter out by ethnicity.
Can you filter out by political affiliation?
I think on a Bumble you
Isn't
can.
Seeking Arrangements the hooker app though? Like, why wouldn't?
Hey, how dare you? It is the sugar dating.
Oh, sorry, the sugar, whatever. Yeah,
you inappropriate man.
Look, I'll toss in my 2 cents, and I got to get going. I had a client recently who was he was not working on. He is subscribed to Seeking Arrangement, and it's a fascinating thing because Seeking Arrangement now is no longer. It's just called Seeking because they got rid of arrangement. You can't mention sex or exchange or prostitution or anything like that.
Yeah,
they all inevitably turn into the same standard dating app, no matter how they originated, no matter what their cute little spin was. And women's finickier, more finicky choices and demands and preferences inevitably bear out in all of them.
Yeah.
And whether you're in a conservative or libertarian one or one that was ostensibly used for sex, in the end, these choices always bear out at the end. And so have you guys ever dated like religious girls? I know it doesn't exactly parallel with Republicans, and
I wouldn't use the word dated, but yeah.
Okay. I don't know what your experiences were.
Yes.
I know what your experiences were. They're some of the bitchiest, most shallow, prudest, psychopathic, girls.
A lot more cock teases than among the secular.
I had good experiences.
Okay, you had good experience. I did not. This is just going to be a quick little bit of hopium for conservative libertarian guys. Like, ooh, now I get the girl. They're going to go in and run into the exact same sexual reality walls or hurdles or challenges for them. It's going to be no different. All you got is a conservative gal or one that claims to be conservative, because need I remind you of the gal who turned 28, and my girlfriend, who was the blonde, she's even from Rapid City. She turned almost 30 or was about to turn 30, and she broke up. Huh?
Tommy Lahren.
Tommy Lahren. Yep.
Well, all of them. Who's the one that you were beefing with, Rolo? Same thing.
My favorite girlfriend. I mean, next to Michaela. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's
One of
that's
my
all
guys in my community. Fuck Tommy.
It's gonna be this will be a big nothing burger. I don't even think they're not gonna get the critical mass to make that go. That you're gonna need a certain amount of women in the nightclub to make it go. You're not even getting enough women to sign up, because women just aren't. I'm gonna say it again. Women are not that interested in men. So they already got a ton of other apps. Why are they going to sign up for this one? Because that would indicate a mature choice. Like, I need to find a conservative guy. Maybe you might get some epiphany phase gals. Maybe you might get some fat chicks. But you're not going to get anything that any guy wants on that app. Not really.
So from a biological standpoint, time out. From a biological standpoint, what you said, Cappy, makes no sense, because you said women are just not interested in men. We are here on this planet.
I'm going to say it again, and maybe you'll listen this time. Women are only interested in top echelon men if it is a choice. When it is a need, then they'll lower their standards and settle, and the market will clear.
How are men not different?
Because we have higher sex drives. Men will lower their standards.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
women
but
don't
like-
have slump busters.
Yeah.
You'd be
They don't.
surprised. But here's another thing though, like how is that different from men and men's standards? Like, because women, you're saying that like women would rather be alone,
yes,
than be with an average guy, but that's
Yes.
just not the case.
What do you mean? What? Yes, it does. You
Because
look at-
look, here's the deal. Like, look, we're talking about, let's just use America, the worst example, 50% divorce rate. That means the other half is still fucking staying together.
So half is not. So their interest in men is lukewarm.
Those half that stay together,
And-
though,
and-
how many
yeah.
of those have a healthy sex life?
Yeah.
How many of
There
them
you
the
go,
wife
there
doesn't
you
cheat?
go,
How many
there
of
it
them
is.
not like a quiet
For
desperation?
everyone, there's a book
There you
that
go.
Where the wife didn't get so fat that she can't trade up, and now she just has to resentfully live her life. Like the 50%'s a misleading thing.
Anyway, I gotta go, guys. I'll see you later. Thanks for having me on,
Right,
John.
Cappy. Hey John, check the private chat. I got a link in there.
Oh
I
God, is this
I
AI
gotta go,
dogs?
too. Yeah.
Is that the episode of Black Mirror that I'm thinking of?
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. I'm not playing this shit. I've already seen the AI dogs.
Come on, it's real. It's real.
I
It's
understand.
real stuff. If this is what they're showing us, if that's what they're showing us, who knows what they already have, bro?
Well, look, dude. I mean, they're also showing Thanos snap the fucking half of the universe into dust using the Infinity Stones. You think that's coming
that's
too?
animated. This is an actual thing.
Oh, okay.
Nobody got time for that.
Listen, we got another super chat come in. John, you ever see that stand up where like Bill Burr's like, when you hear a crazy person losing their mind in Target, and then another guy in the back's like, yeah, that guy's making sense. And now they jump in the now there's two of these guys. That's what you're doing right now.
Hey, man, I got my degrees in history, man. These people are up to no good all the time. There is no such thing as a benevolent good government. It's never happened. Ever.
This guy's going to join you here. $10 super chat. I've worked for AI in over a decade. Fitch isn't too far off, actually. There we go. Well, there we go. We're all gonna die. It's all hopeless, and you guys are all fucking beta nerds, and you're all gonna be divorced, raped, and you're never gonna be happy, and you're gonna die, and everything.
Actually, you know what, John? Here, it's not negativity. Like
It is
dogs
negativity.
aside. Can we put the dogs aside for a bit? Like,
No,
yeah,
the
the
dogs
app
are
is no
coming,
different.
Ryan.
The chicks are just chicks, though, and that's the positive. What I see in this,
Yep.
it doesn't matter if you're on a conservative dating site or Tinge or Tinder or opening a girl and that you meet in real life. Women are always women. Their only ideology is being a woman. What they want hot men when they're young. They want stable marriage and families when they're older. And then when they're older still, they want hot men again. That's consistent. You can work with that. All you have to do is be the guy that girls want to fuck when they're younger. Transition into the guy that girls want to have a family with when you want one. And make sure you never lose that part of yourself that's fuckable. So when they get older, they don't turn you into that 50% divorce rate. It seems so ridiculously simple that you don't need an app. Like, it's fun for you. You're like, this is fun. I get to play around with the thing, and it's great. And I agree. But yeah, none of it's necessary. You've given the roadmap how to be attractive. You guys have given the roadmap how to be red pilled. I've given the roadmap on how to have your relationship skills on point. You take this all together, life is great. You're in control.
Yeah.
But everything else is fucked.
I'm having a great life. I'm in a great place. I'm doing good. I'm moving forward.
No, the AI dogs.
I just realized that there's just bad stuff that could happen. So like, be non-compliant. That's the big rule. Live your life. Don't worry about what that stuff.
I agree though. If I see an AI dog, I'm fucking out.
They're gonna kill you, Ryan. Leon, $5 super chat. MLD, I know a coworker, Indian ethnicity. She won't get married until she gets what she wants. She's 31. SMH. Good. We'll see you later. Go back to 7-Eleven. SJ, California, or Canadian $2 super chat. MLD is the optimistic one. How's recovery? It's going well. Kanafa Chan, $10 super chat. Rolo, what's your opinion on Cappy's opinion that women genuinely aren't interested? Listen. Cappy is a grumpy old man that lives in South Dakota. Okay, he doesn't know. He's not out there. I love Cappy, but I'm saying this is just the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. That women genuinely are not interested in men. Women are sitting around.
Most women are boy crazy. Would
you agree with this? Would you agree with this statement? Average women are not interested in average men.
Yeah, but so are average guys. We're not like whipping out fucking pornos and jerking off to some fucking hairy armed Dominican girl that's 4'10" and like 5,
I think all
pounds.
But approachable girls are like a huge trend in porn and everything.
That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why OnlyFans is so like immersive. Let's just say, because it's not the sex part. You can go jerk off to porn for free. But why would you pay $4,000 a month for your favorite OnlyFans girl? It's because they want that interactivity. They want the idea. They want to believe in the idea that chick is attainable and that chick actually gives a shit about them. Because in real life, average women don't want to have anything to do with average men. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and become above average. Absolutely, you should. But I think what Cappy is really saying is it's not so much about like women aren't interested in men. They're just not. I think that they have satisfied, at least perceptually, the beta buck side of hypergamy. So it's all protection, provisioning, and
Bro, I gotta pee. Just hold it down.
And so,
hey guys, I got to go real quick before Roller goes. So thanks for having me. Go to jumping.net. I'll check y'all guys later.
Cool.
Good to see you, John.
Good to have you, man.
I'm terrified about those fucking dogs now.
Watch out for like. Did you watch that Black Mirror episode? Holy shit!
I have only ever seen the one episode where the chick had the social media account and lost her fucking mind.
Now that would you have to watch. It's called Metalhead is what the name of the episode is. I want to say it's like a season 4 of Black Mirror. Oh my god, dude. And what's scary about it is it seems so realistic, like it could actually happen. You know, it's not.
And I agree with you, by the way, on the thing. I think that's what he's missing because John's top tier, so it's hard. He's been top tier long enough. He assumes all guys are top tier.
Yeah,
average girls. Even was it Oscar Wilde? Remember the Oscar Wilde quote? Men love infinite variety in women, but women are much simpler. They'll settle for the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, and why wouldn't they? I mean, that's the biological firmware. It's evolutionary firmware. It's to look for hypergamy doesn't seek its own level. It's not looking for a lateral move, man. It's looking for a better than deserved, move. I mean, and you got to remember that also sexual market value is perceptual. So a chick, like people always say, the hotter a chick is, the more like insecure she is. It's like, depends on the girl, but maybe. But even if, let's just say for sake of argument that that's true, then you're also looking at the perception that that girl who is like an 8 thinks she's a 6. And so that's the perception bias that's involved in all of that as well. But all these chicks think that they deserve the 9 or the 10 or the 8 or the 8, 9 or 10,
and it's reinforced because the 8s, 9s, and 10s treat them as the slump busters. Like, I've been to the promised land. I can make it back.
That's just how hypergamy works. Hypergamy does not seek its own level, and it's not interested really in a lateral move unless a 6 and a 6, and the guy who's the 6 has value added. He's got more money. He loves his mom. He's a conservative. Maybe that's it, right? I thought what was interesting about the whole.
Where did John go? Did the robot dogs get him?
Yeah, the robot dogs.
Yeah, he had to jet.
Picked him up.
But
they finally got him.
But like it's not like it's hard to accept. Like, what do we have right now? We don't have any danger in society. We've automated everything. So like you said, a girl can bring home the bacon. She can get a job. She can earn money. 40% of households now have females as the primary breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need provision. They don't need, I'm a good father. They don't need any of that stuff. So all that's left is what they want.
So people tell me this all the time. They'll be like, well, but she doesn't make a lot of money. She's like OnlyFans girl, or she's, she's not making as much as like the top earners, right? Or she's enough. She's not making this kind of money. Why are her standards so high? Why is she so entitled? Why is she so hubristic? And it's the perception that it is already taken care of for them. The beta buck side that they don't need a man. They want a man. Okay.
I always love that double speak where it's like, why are women so emotional? And then how come they don't make this decision based on logic? It's like, what did you think? As long as she feels it, it's fine.
So I think also, Rollo, because I think this ties into females' risk averse nature, right? Because they don't want to take a risk on a guy. What do they say? Oh, I want the guy that's 6'4". I want the guy that makes $1 million a year. I want the guy that's only going to be faithful to me, because they don't like risk. A guy will look at a girl who's working a fry basket at McDonald's and be like, I can make something out of this bitch. If she's 19, she's got good tits, good ass, good smooth skin. Like, baby, you don't have to dip those fries anymore. Come with me. He'll take a risk. That's what men are. That's what we are. We're risk taking guys, right? But I think that's a big reason why women choose that, because it's the safe route. It's just like, you know, there's nothing adventurous about it. That's why when they made what's this bitch name, the Star Wars one, the awful chick,
Ray.
Yeah. Oh God. See how terrible it is. I don't remember her name. Ray. Right. They're like, oh well, you know, let's just make her really strong. She's stronger than Luke. She's stronger than Darth Vader. Is she going to get challenged? No. She's just strong and she just wins the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then box office flop. Oh, it's because men are racist or sexist, bigots, whatever. And they hate trans people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's by the way, that's the new marketing plan, by the way, too.
Who's the term for it?
Well, I know there is actually
fan baiting.
Fan baiting is what it is. And it really kind of started, I think, with Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel came out on March 8th, like 2019 or 20. Yeah, I think it was 2019 or 2018, something like that. And like, can you like have a bigger like flashing neon sign that says this is about a political narrative and not actually about a really good movie, right?
It's about immigration too, and fucking like, you know, come on, man. Like, first of all, if you even watch or you read the comics, okay, those like people are evil in the comics. The shapeshifters. What are they called, Rollo? It starts with a G, right?
Doppelgangers.
No. The green ones with
the scroll, the Kree and the scroll.
The scroll were bad in the comic books, right? But I guess this is in the multiverse, so that's where they're kind of doing this. But they're using it as fucking political thing, and that was around the time that 2020 elections were coming up. You know,
of course. Well, here's the thing:
like
what they do is they'll throw.
And you know, when he's doing meeting, he's like, oh yeah, you were on a date with another dude. Oh, it's okay, bro. Like, did you guys suck each other's dick after? What time did you cry during the dinner? Like, bringing up this whole gay conversation in the middle of like the intro of Endgame, and like, you know, it's just all political bullshit.
Look at She-Hulk right now. What they knew damn well that it was going to flop, but the marketing plan is it's only flopping because you incels are making it flop. Same thing with the Rings of Power. Same thing with name the all-female cast version of whatever it is. Like oh God, I saw that. Did you guys see this on Twitter this morning? It was like there's going to be a new version of, is it American Pie or some shit like that? And it's going to be like the more woke version of it. Like I guess it's either a sequel or they're going to redo the movie again. And I'm like, that is probably the single worst idea I've ever heard. But what's going to happen is that the plan is we're going to do this piece of shit. We're going to make it like all about female empowerment. We're going to make it about woke. It's going to be Rey from Star Wars and have a Mary Sue character. We know it's going to flop, but that's okay. Film producing studios, we've already got it planned out that when it does flop, we're just going to say it's the fans. It's this misogynistic incel fuckers who downvote it. That's what
they got a good ESG score, so they get money.
I don't think so. Well, you telling me a bunch of Hollywood execs are sitting around like, hey guys, let's plan something to lose money on.
Well, they're not losing money. You know that ESG score we were talking about earlier? They're getting loans for this stuff. So the individuals making the decisions are making money. The studio might altogether lose money, but the individuals are making a fortune off.
They're not that smart, guys. You're giving you guys.
No, they're greedy. It's not that they're smart.
No, but you're talking about it, aren't you? You're talking about She-Hulk. You're talking about
what? Brought up She-Hulk. That shit sucks. Have you even been watching it? Did you see the Tinder episode? It's so bad.
I haven't watched any of it. I gave up.
Yeah, she goes on Tinder. She goes on Matcher.
Yeah, but you're talking about it all. Love me, hate me, just spell my name right.
Anyways,
remember, the whole organization, the movie studio can lose money. Well, that's like a Hollywood thing, Hollywood accounting, where they actually have the studio lose money on everything, but everybody seems to get rich from it. It's a very weird thing.
I disagree. I can't prove it, but I disagree. I just don't think a bunch of Hollywood execs would be like, "All right, guys, let's get together. How can we make the shittiest movie?"
And it's not about
well, it's not about shitty.
A bunch of money and tank this bitch's credibility so she doesn't get cast in anything else. Let's fuck up these writers. Let's fuck up this director. How can we get that, guys? Let's brainstorm. I don't think it's true.
But again, is it about like how can we fuck up the movie, or how can we advance this progressivist feminist narrative and still make the shit entertaining, because that's what the execs want?
I think that's their plan, but I think they fail at it because they're disconnected with the average person.
I agree. They're not confident, but they are
Ryan, hold on. Both you guys. When was the last time you were in Los Angeles?
About a year ago. About 2021.
For me, yeah, it's like
spend
5,
time, or
10
you just
years.
doing a transfer in the airport?
No, I what did I have to do down there? It was a podcast of some sort. I was at an event in LA, but I mean, I was there for like a weekend.
Didn't you notice like the just general insufferability of the people there and their fakeness?
Oh
and
God, yes, of course. I mean, it's like you got to remember, I was born and raised in Southern California. I know LA very well. Thank you very much. And it has fundamentally changed. Also, San Francisco. I gave up my my liquor accounts in San Francisco right around like 2018, actually before the Cerveza. I gave up on it because I was tired of trying to make promotional events and make things work out in like the Bay Area and not stepping on syringes on the sidewalk or human feces.
I used to love San Francisco. Fleet Week was the highlight of my year. They ruined that city.
Great, man. It's now, yeah, you're right.
Here, Sub-Zero49 says LA MLD. It's true, SoCal here, and that's what I'm saying. The general populace is insufferable like that, and so are these idiots that are fucking making these movies. Like, think about it, dude. Disney really thought that those Star Wars movies were going to be a good idea, shitting all over Luke Skywalker. That's like me saying, okay, Disney, here's the deal. We're going to make this Mickey Mouse movie, and we're going to make him a fucking heroin addict, and we're going to demonize Mickey. And we're like, Mickey's a fucking rapist, and Mickey's a heroin addict, and people are going to love it. People are going to love this shit. Like, what the fuck, man? I just
you know what? It would get greenlit, too.
It would get greenlit, but they failed.
Mickey Mouse is a colonist.
What did this guy? What does this mean? Listen, you guys are smarter than me. What does it mean? MLD is being too contrarian for optimism's sake. What does that mean, contrarian? I don't know.
Oh, that you're arguing for the sake of arguing. First off, even if he is, it's more entertaining. So shut the fuck up, dudes. Let us have our fun. And secondly, the worst. Didn't you guys bitch last year how we all were just a talking echo chamber and we always agree with each other? Like, you can't have it both ways.
Anyways,
at least we don't go on for 4 hours about our come up story every fucking episode.
Kyle 2020 is that a tape jab? Kyle 2020 $10 super chat. The Woman King. That movie is a test for Hollywood propaganda. It's as if they made a movie about the Nazis heroically defending Europe from the invading Allies coming to kill all the Jews. Man, you guys go off the deep end, man.
Honestly, though, that would be kind of like an awesome thing to watch.
That's a good example of Hollywood actually trying to advance a narrative. And I'll tell you what, when it flops, that's going to be exact. They're going to say, well, it's a Woman King. So these incels all downvoted it on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, I guess we better go back to the drawing board.
Well, here's the deal, Rollo. Let's get to your bread and butter. Hating on Jordan Peterson.
You crying again? God damn it.
Oh, and yes, I secretly bang Michaela Peterson too.
Me too.
First.
Jordan Peterson was on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Is that his YouTube show? What is that?
I don't know. It's just him doing an interview with Piers Morgan of all people.
Yeah, that's his show. It's called Piers Morgan Uncensored.
The same guy who told Anthony Johnson that he was actually a feminist.
Jordan Peterson is doing pretty well, though. He's sold over 7 million copies of his book. Like it or not, I do think that it is a overall sign of good because there are a lot of fatherless men out there looking. I think both of you guys underestimate how many fatherless men there are on there looking for masculine guidance.
I actually stand for Peterson on that. His old stuff.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Me too, Ryan. I'm spot on because what's the alternative? Like, fucking, joining the Alphabet Army or whatever the fucking case may be. I think it's a sign of the times too, because this shit used to be normal. Like that used to be your pastor. That used to be your dad. That used to be your uncle.
Your
like
coach.
a respected coach. Yeah,
with him, I'm like, Roll and I talked. It's not that we don't like him. It's that we disagree with specific things. So, but like we can all agree we're all aligned in the same direction. We all want similar things. But stop crying on Piers Morgan. You're making Canada embarrassed.
No, he's off his meds. I mean, let's be honest. At this point, he's off his meds. But here, let me open this up for you here. See if I can share this with you.
Here we go.
Canada.
Wrap it up. I don't want
Rollo,
to,
go ahead.
but I have to. I want to ask you just quickly. The film director Olivia Wilde has a new movie out, which she says is based on you, this insane man, this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. Incel being these weirdo loner men who are despicable in many ways. Is that you? Are you the intellectual hero to these people?
Sure. Why not? People have been after me for a long time by because I've been speaking to disaffected young men. You know, what a terrible thing to do that is. I thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
Not on this
Making
planet.
you emotional talking about it.
Well, God, you know.
Love that answer. Ah, fuck
It's
it. Why
very
not?
difficult to understand how demoralized people are. And certainly many young men are in that category. And you get these casual insults, these incels. What does it mean? It's like, well, these men, they don't know how to make themselves attractive to women who are very picky, and good for them. Women, like, be picky. That's your gift, man.
That's the point where I'm going to pause it right there. That's the point, by the way, where I kind of got to take issue in this whole thing, because I have other footage.
I'm not arguing on this one. Go for it.
Well, I've got other footage of him like coming down on incels.
You got to pull that up if you're going to say it.
Yeah, no, I'll have to dig it up, but I've only got this one. But anyways, I forget which.
I'll look for it.
But there's one where he's basically saying that if you are trying to trick women into being, attracted to you or hot for you, you're no better than a rapist. Essentially saying, you incels, anybody who's interested in trying to, sort of up their game and learn how women's nature and everything, you are just this side of being a rapist. And I'm like, don't you dare fucking say you're like king or high prophet of the incels in one video, and then in another video. I mean, there's dozens of other
old
videos.
one. Yeah, that was his take on the pickup artists. He
Dozens of other ones where he has like come out against like incels and stuff, but now suddenly, because he's cast as being this villain by some stupid, feminist director, Olivia, who even knows who this bitch is, right? It turns him into sort of this, Red Skull villain in her thing, which by the way, I didn't even know what the fuck it was until I saw this, right? And so he's crying over this. And honestly, I think he's only crying because he's the one being attacked. It's not about the incels. He has come at incels so much so, and he repeats it right here in this interview where he's talking about how, women should be picky. They should choose you. They should not choose you. If you're an incel and you're a weak piece of shit, they should not choose you. Or if you're not like living up to their expectations of you, then they should not choose you. And then in the next breath or in the next interview, he got tears streaming down his fucking cheeks saying exactly the opposite. And that's why it's like, is he off his meds here? Because that's what I'm getting out of the whole thing.
Demand high standards from your men. Fair enough. But all these men who are alienated, it's like they're lonesome and they don't know what to do, and everyone piles abuse on them.
When she said that, Olivia Wilde, it stung you, didn't it? I saw the
by that time, that as far as critiques go, that was kind of low level. I mean, once I got painted as Red Skull, magical super Nazi,
they leaned into that.
That was kind of the end of the insults.
By the way, when all that shit went down, Michaela Peterson was making T-shirts and stickers of him as the Red Skull. So don't give me this bullshit about how it was hurting you.
I agree. That would have been awesome to be a character.
So when Olivia Wilde made those comments, the first thing I did was go look at the preview for her movie, which I quite liked. I thought I would go see that movie probably, and perhaps I will. It didn't really bother me. My family and I talked about it right away, and we were able to respond to it with some degree of humor, which then people completely misunderstood. I said I hope that, that if I had to be played by someone, I think Chris Wilde, he's a very good-looking man, and so that seems all right, and then I said something like, I hope he gets my fashion style choice right when he plays me. And it was a joke. All that was a joke.
You mean looking like Sigmund
You've been
Freud?
so controlled today, and yet in that brief moment, you got very emotional. Why?
It's really something to see.
I do agree, Rolo. This is so performative. Like, I can tell it's an act put on for us.
Constantly. How many people are dying for lack of an encouraging word? And how easy it is to provide that if you're careful. Give credit where credit is due. And to say, You're a net force for good if you want to be.
Do you believe you're a net force for good?
Net, yes. In all the details, probably not. You know, no one's perfect. So people make their mistakes as they stumble uphill.
Jordan's been a fascinating interview. Thank you very much.
I'll cut it there. He talks about his Michaela's what is it, Peterson Academy after this.
So check this out. Look at the first comment.
She's got Hustlers U for Peterson's daughter.
Look at the first comment there. As a man who grew up without a father, this man's work is a gift. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. 1,000 upvotes right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think like the point of me doing this episode today was not to validate all this stuff.
There, yeah,
for sure. But I'm saying the fact that the message is being there, like people are actually they're advertising for conservatism. They're advertising for anti-feminist stuff. It's being receptive. It's being received by a lot of people. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh, dude, it's a growing demographic that's definitely monetizable. I agree there.
And the point is this: the masses are always going to do what's promoted to them, and I think they're just kind of done with the whole woke shit. People are tired of it. Like I don't want to go to fucking the movies and get lectured to about my political decisions. I want to go to the movies and escape the fucking, impending doom of my infinite death. Personally, like I want to fucking I want to have a good old time. I want to like imagine what it would be like if I was Iron Man or if I was James.
You
Bond
want the Pepsi
something.
Taste Challenge?
Exactly. So I don't know what that is. I was just doing.
That's where it was like when Pepsi was going after Coke as the hegemon.
Well, it's like
we just tried them both and we took the labels off of it. You're going to prefer Coke, and everybody would taste it, and it's great. Pepsi became the biggest pop in the world for like a while, and yeah.
I was on.
Let me read these super chats real quick.
I got some.
Our future MD won $10 super chat. Yeah, but it's the Bill Burr effect. They all make all these woke movies that flop. It's like the WNBA. They cried and whined about representation, but girls don't even life this garbage. Why would I watch? Dude, I don't know what you're trying to say, but thanks for $10. To Rollo's point, Jordan Peterson is being a Schrodinger feminist. I respect the guy, but he's turned into another pander bear. But what is he pandering to? You're acting like dude, he just got banned off of Twitter for standing up against the whole fucking, the uncriticized people that cut off part of their bodies. Like he just got he just got banned off of Twitter for that. He's taking his stand. Twitter's going off the rails. A lot of people are figuring out that a lot of these situation, what's happening on Twitter is fueled by bots. That's happening. Right. There's a lot of there's a shift in the tide that's happening if you're paying attention. But if you just want to fucking gravitate towards the negative shit, of course your life's going to suck. If you just keep on consistently looking at shit that's negative, no shit, your life's going to suck. But that's what I'm trying to say, that if you're paying attention to things objectively, the canary in the coal mine is there. And I think that this kind of liberal thing, it has run its course. Are we going to make a gigantic change in the next 5 to 10 years? No,
probably.
But what I'm trying to say is we've already survived through the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm.
Well, let me posit you this then. That Peterson interview, did they say anything about what those poor incel men can do, or did they just commiserate? Were they saying how bad they had it and how these women were wrong and bad? Like, did it make them feel better and feel like they've been heard, or did it provide anything that can help them? Like body language mastery, you do this stuff, but you gave them something.
Right.
That actually was here. Use this.
Substantive. Yes.
Right. Okay. But the purpose of his interview with Piers Morgan was not to fucking incel recovery.
I agree. It was performative commiseration. It was no different than Paul Elam talking about the red pill movie. Is like, look how bad men have it, or girl rights right. It's the same MRA stuff, and it's not
and
helpful.
They were crying throughout that movie as well.
Yeah. It's literally sitting there. Hey guys, you need to feel good. It's the sisterhood of traveling pants with like flannel.
Yeah.
That's what gets me nuts, dude. Peterson has a lot of good stuff. Like his psychology stuff, his clinical psychology videos before all the fame and that. Absolutely, 100% cheerlead that shit to the end of the day. But getting him to cry because incels have it hard and the evil feminist is a bitch, that's just put on as like theater. That's a wrestling promo. The only difference is Ric Flair is crying for some fucking reason. I don't know. That's what gets me, because you're never going to fix anything. You're just going to feel better about it. That's why I like your shit, because like you lean into that because marketing, you got to get eyeballs, but at the same time, you at least deliver a product.
I live that shit. It's not about marketing. My shit works because it fucking works.
Yeah, it works, but that's the
we
point. There's
start
things,
seeing
but
them.
you have to get eyeballs on it too. But the point is, you have, what do you say, Rolo? Sizzle with the steak?
Yep, you got
The nachos got to have, like, that's the difference. You're playing it properly. But those guys are going all performance. A lot of those guys are.
No, I agree. But what I'm trying to say is this too, because let's be honest, we have a niche audience, right? The
Huge
mainstream.
niche. Most people don't want to fix; they just want to feel.
Us. Yeah, because we tell you get off your fat ass and go get some work done, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say is that for my message is not for the masses, but what I am saying is the masses are starting to come around. In addition to that, my message is for the men who are watching us, and I'm trying to say, if you've already made it through the Obama administration, not trying to get political, but the Obama administration, the peak of this fucking shit, I think the worst of it is behind us, because now you're seeing a growing counter movement. Like Ron DeSantis is like legitimately a potential front runner for the 2024 presidential election. If it's legit, well, all of America's elections are legit. What was I even saying? Jesus Christ.
Plus the Martha Vineyard thing, that was pretty fucking funny. I liked it.
Mystery, as Cappy would say. I will say this. I want to show this clip from Jordan Peterson, because I do think this is really good advice from him. Exactly. Though it's this from the Joe Rogan Experience. Take a look here.
So because people have commented on every verse in the Bible, like to a degree that's almost unimaginable. So you can look and see all the interpretations and all the translations and get some sense of what the genuine meaning might be. And the line, the meek shall inherit the earth, meek is not a good translation, or the word has moved in the 300 years or so since it was translated. What it means is this: those who have swords and know how to use them, but keep them sheathed, will inherit the world. And that's another thing I've been telling. Yeah, no kidding. That's a lot different, man. That's a big difference. It's so great. And so, like, one of the things I tell young men, well, and young women as well, but the young men really need to hear this more, I think, is that you should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
Yep.
Do you know the expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war?
Right, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And so when I tell young men that, they think, well, lots of them are competitive. They're low in agreeableness, you know, because that's part of being competitive temperamentally. It's like, is there something wrong with being competitive? There's nothing wrong with it. There's something wrong with cheating. There's something wrong with being a tyrant. There's something wrong with winning unfairly. All of those things are bad. But you don't want people to win? What's the difference between trying to win and striving? You want to eradicate striving?
What's the?
So I think
that one. That's years ago. That one I could get behind.
I think that's his initial.
That's like 2017, 2018, Jordan Peterson.
I think that's his
before.
first time.
Who's the marketing agency that had to do his PR for him? That's before they got their claw.
ADR. Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah, I forget which one, but I was going to say is like he's not saying anything that Jocko Willink hasn't been saying for a while as well. So coming from Jordan, it sounds a little bit different than it does coming from Jocko. So I think I've seen this before, and I've had people hit me up about this. And again, I think you and I did a dedicated episode or two about Jordan Peterson, Ryan, where we're talking about how these guys, like the Lost Boys generation, are sheep in search of a shepherd. And he's the dad they never had, and so therefore that's what they're looking for. And I've brought this up several times on this show. It's like everybody that's involved with Rule Zero for sure, and anybody who's in the manosphere right now, we tell kids not to go to university, and you follow Cappy's advice and say you don't get a useless degree and don't waste your money, and don't get student debt loans or anything like that. And we sort of try to steer people, the youth away from like sort of formal big institutions education. But where do guys go to get educated? Where's the next generation go to get educated? And the answer, of course, is they're coming here. Who are the teachers? You, me, John, everyone involved in this side, Money, Muscles, and Game. Everyone involved in the manosphere, in this niche, we are teachers, and we have a responsibility to give good food, right? Sizzle and steak. We need nutrition, not just fucking junk food,
Most people aren't.
Not just red meat and cheesy nachos. I mean, we need like some like real fucking substance. And I think that's what you were getting at there a moment ago, Ryan, is that we have to have something that's a little bit more substantial. There's a qualitative difference between Jordan Peterson crying in front of Pierce Morgan, and Jordan Peterson giving that talk to Joe Rogan back in 2018 right there. And I think we need to be careful of that, because there's people who have grown up with Jordan Peterson and people who are now hitting 21, 22, and they go, who's this Jordan Peterson guy? He's crying for, incels on Pierce Morgan. There's a lot more to that than just the one clips that we happen to be looking at any given time. So more to John's point, though, I'm going to tell you just a really quick story here. Is when I was on with the Masculine Geek guys, and I mentioned this in the same time frame, 2018. Do you guys remember the Roseanne Barr show when they tried to reboot Roseanne Barr on ABC?
Yeah.
And it was the #1 show in the United States, because it had Roseanne Barr and John Goodman, like they're the conservative Republican Trump MAGA guys who are pushing against now a much more polarized version of her sister, who was always like sort of like the classic liberal and the progressive. So you had this like interplay between the two of them, and you're having this conflict. And the problem with that was I think one of the reasons why that show took off as the #1 show in the United States is because it was the only one that was pushing against that narrative, even in the most marginal way, because it was funny. And that's the character of Roseanne Barr and John Goodman and all the old characters, right? All it took was for Roseanne Barr to put one tweet out, she was drunk tweeting or what she's being Roseanne Barr.
Ambien, she was on Ambien.
Yeah, Ambien. So whatever, they instantly kill the #1 show in the United States. This is American Broadcasting Commission, whatever it is, ABC, owned by Disney, by the way, who kill that show. And they don't say, let's finish out the season. Let's try to do it without Roseanne. They didn't try to like end it in any way. They just dead killed the show, a dead stop. That's what I'm saying when it comes to the narrative is. So what I was telling the guys on Masculine Geek was this. I said, the reason why that was so popular is because it pushed against the narrative. It was like this conservative kind of like rationality that was pushing against a liberal, wokesy narrative as well. And that's one of the reasons why they wanted to kill it. The other thing I keep telling these guys is if you want to make $1 million, start writing red pill fiction. Write the next Captain Kirk. Write the next Han Solo. Write the next whatever it is, because now more than ever.
Doing that. Did you see was it ASOV Comics? Did you see this guy?
No, but I was going to say is like now more than ever, those I'm still wondering if there's people who it would even conceptualize that, like the new creatives right now who would write new stories or write new comic books or write new movies or write new franchises. The reason we keep going back to old franchises and like killing them and corrupting them is because we don't have anybody who would dare write the next Captain Kirk, who would unapologetically and not make him like, unironically, right? Would not, write it as a joke. Do a real serious action hero like old school Arnold Schwarzenegger or
they're
Sylvester
doing that now with comics. I can't remember what the character's name is. Black character.
Yeah,
it's like $3 million in sales off of that. And the only thing he said is, I'm not going to make a white character and turn him black. I'm just going to make a normal black superhero, standard superhero stuff, nothing woke. Things selling bigger than like DC right now and Marvel. And it's just some one guy in his basement basically starting this thing. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's why Tate has risen to such great heights. And then you want to talk about anime. The #1 most popular character in all anime right now is fucking Vegeta. And it used to be Goku, like this fucking happy-go-lucky moron. But now, because like the need for masculinity is so an all-time high, Vegeta is like the most hyper masculine dude in the Dragon Ball Z universe. And honestly, anybody who likes Goku is just fucking basic.
So I think that kind of comes full circle to your point, John, when we're saying, well, why would film and even music, I guess too, but like why would film directors like deliberately write a bullshit flop for themselves? And I think the real answer to that is the people who are the creatives writing those scripts don't know how not to write anything but a flop, because they think that because they've been acculturated in this wokesy society, in this narrative, to the point where the concept of anything like would be positively masculine, or even like pushing the envelope for like a Han Solo or a scoundrel like character, or like even a Tinder swindler. Tinder swindler is an anti-hero, but you kind of like him because he won. He actually got something over. You got the Joker or something like that. These guys don't know how to write those characters. They don't know how to write those stories. They don't know how to write those movies anymore. And they shy away from the old school stories. And there's hundreds and hundreds of them in the Marvel franchise. They won't touch those. Instead, they'll go and rewrite things so that it follows along with the woke narrative, not because they're trying to like deliberately shoot themselves in the foot. It's just they can't conceptualize anything else.
Yeah.
On that note, Rollo's better than Jordan Peterson.
And I am